lot of football, having spring early, Coach Rhule's decision to have spring early, I think helped a bunch because we're able to, most of the time, like you have spring and you say, I'll see you guys in June.
And have one last week of tremendous camp before the season gets started. So we'll continue to work on our execution. I like the effort. I like the coachability, but it comes down to what you do in between the snaps.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up, Austin? How we doing?
I'm just worried about you. I want to know how your tennis weekend went because I got no updates from your coach. I barely heard from you yesterday. I was worried sick. I thought the town of St. Louis had swallowed you whole.
It was okay. I lost in the quarters. Third set tiebreaker. Probably should have won it. That's totally
on
me.
You.
That's totally on me.
Did they wear you down mentally?
No, I just didn't start off very well. Couldn't find my serve. I mean, I was getting them in, but it wasn't as effective as it needed to be. So it was tough.
Did you Minnesota game that thing? Is that what happened?
No, I don't think so. I didn't totally pucker. I did.
And that's totally on me.
No, it just got behind. Had to expend a lot of energy coming back, and I couldn't quite win the tiebreaker. So that was tough. And then won a consolation, and then the other one got rained out because it rained a lot in St. Louis yesterday. So.
And then were you just ready to be done by the time that rolled around, or what?
No, it's just that they were like, "Hey, we don't know when we're gonna get this in," and I was like, "Hey, I got to get back to Omaha." So.
Omaha?
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, everybody else is from half hour from here," and I was like, "Yeah, I know."
How do you feel about your performance? Did you like what you did this weekend?
No, I need to trust my game a little bit more. Need to trust my game a little bit more.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I'll get into that trap of playing the other person's game.
I see. And that's what you said on Friday. You said you try to make people play their worst.
Yeah, I need to play my style and not get sucked into that trap. So
nice.
Learning experience, first out of town tournament. You know,
and you played in a stadium.
It was cool.
We got to work on your video skills though. That Instagram story is a little bit long.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
You started hitting record a couple steps too early. And
I
was like,
thought
okay,
the entrance was moving. I thought the entrance was cool. It was kind of it had a gate.
It was cool. No, it was cool.
It was a cool facility.
No, you're used to gated communities though. So
it was. I do not live in a gated community.
Oh, sure. Okay.
How much time are you going to take off in the off season?
No, I mean there is no off season yet. I still am trying to qualify for nationals, so I got a few more tournaments I got to do.
So how far behind are you from that goal now?
I mean, this was still progress towards that. I came into the tournament 9th in the region. I think if I calculated my points correctly, that'll come out on Wednesday. I should be 4th after this tournament.
We're going to see these rankings, or are you just making this up?
Let's see. They update on Wednesday, but it should be
if I just say Ravi Lulla tennis ranking,
NTRP national standings list. And that should give you the list, but it won't update till Wednesday, so I'm still 9th there.
It says Ravi Lulla just the professional or national tennis ranking as he is a local sports media personality.
Come on, Grok.
Thanks a lot, Grok.
Am I gonna have to start putting a note? If I make a lower third for you, do I have to put a little number next to you?
So I'll show you.
Good argument.
I'll show you my rankings here. We'll get these up for you so you can see what's going on. But no, it's I should be 4th on Wednesday when the new rankings come out. So we'll get there. We got a couple more that we can
piece by piece
we can play. But if I had done as well as I'd hoped, I could have been 2nd, I think, going into this. So
yeah, well, that's okay. You know what? You can only climb that ladder.
It is what it is. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, that's right.
Can we make top 25 rankings and do the little arrows for when Ravi rises and other people fall?
So yeah, there it is. So I'm 226 nationally. I'm 9th in the region, and I'm 2nd in the state.
Have you beaten the person in the state before?
No, I played him. I lost in a third set. That was the guy that
his name's Trey.
Yeah,
can't lose to a guy named Trey.
That's the guy that was playing Division
He's got a basketball game on Thursday.
That's the guy that was playing Division I football 9 months ago.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up this guy now.
He played for Drake.
Oh, well, that's barely Division I football. I take it back.
It's a hell of a lot.
That's a joke, Trey.
It's a hell of a lot more Division I football than I played. And a hell of a lot more recently.
No, he only had a catch for 3 yards. That's one more catch than you had.
Exactly. He was like a 6'3", 22-year-old.
He's from McPherson. Good for him. He's not even from Nebraska. Represent the state. Out of natives, you're number 1.
Well, I'll be number 1 after this one, I believe, because I don't think he played this weekend. So
sorry, Trey.
I should pass him.
Yeah.
You know,
He was
all right.
probably out at preseason games drinking beer.
You know, he was,
Not like you. You're putting in the work, putting in the efforts. Can we get you like
you want one of those videos like meanwhile while they're at the club? And I'm-
Yes, that's what I want. I just want like security cam footage of James Harden be like, this is Ravi Lulla's opponents. And then it's you in the Gatorade gym with like the crazy treadmill hookup with the ventilator
with
mask
the bright
and stuff.
orange sweat that they
Yes. That's one of the best parts of those commercials, but also real gross if you think about
yeah,
it. If
no.
I'm sweating Gatorade, that's got to be the stickiest environment I've ever been
that's
in.
not ideal. Definitely not the stickiest environment Rico's ever been in.
That's
but
true. We discussed this in our chat. When you got done playing, I had this thought. When you got done playing your first match and you looked at your phone, did you just go, okay?
Yeah, I did. I don't think I responded. I was like,
no, you shouldn't have.
this is a lot. I'm going to
Fuck me. What the fuck did I do?
All right, Brandon. So at the bottom of the page, you hit explicit.
Thanks, Rico. It's 6 minutes in on a Monday, man.
You started this.
No, I didn't.
You talk about sticky situations. I did nothing. I'm just here. I was going to congratulate you.
Tell us about the sticky situation that you were in less than 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
You're the one that made it weird.
Yeah, come on now.
And I was like
Different
biting
sticky
the blanket.
Happens. It happens, man. It's fine.
No, it was good though.
Did you eat good? Eat good in St. Louis?
So I ate at a local place called Fitz's. It is a like local. I think it's nationally famous. They do like brew their own root beer and sodas and stuff. I think you can buy them.
Oh,
here.
Fitz's root beer. Yes, yes.
I think
heard of
I've
this.
seen these in Omaha. So we went there. I realized as I was walking to the table, I was like, oh, I've been here before.
Wow.
My best friend from high school used to.
You didn't get a root beer float, did you?
I didn't.
Okay,
I
was going
not.
to say that seems like a
No.
reason why you might have had some trouble then on Sunday.
No, I did. I got the diet root beer, as a responsible
Classic move.
diabetic.
Yep.
Shirley Temple.
No, but no Shirley Temples for this guy.
I don't know if I could look at another man and order a rocket pop at the Fitz's.
You got to make eye contact while you do it.
Also, if I'm with a group of people, I'm not also ordering the pineapple pop. I don't think I'm doing
you just
that.
don't know how that's gonna go.
Anybody else getting the pineapple?
You're like,
Anybody?
pineapple pop.
Yeah, certain group of people.
Not with the Alvarez Claries. Say that.
Stop.
Speaking of sticky situations,
That's Robbie's gated community. I don't know what you're talking about.
listen, root beer floats are sticky. That's all I meant.
That's true. Yeah. Have you ever went or like just eaten breakfast that involved like some sort of syrup and you get syrup on you? You try to wash it off the best you can, but like you have that feeling of syrup like stuck on you for a long time.
And it doesn't matter like how long or how thoroughly you wash your hands.
Yes.
You're just like, why? How is there more?
Mhm.
Like I got full coverage.
Yes.
I don't know what's
Sauced wings,
happening
I have
here.
the same issue too. Like if you eat sauced wing, like traditional wings, and you're getting after it,
Mhm.
they get under your fingernails and stuff. It's like that feeling never leaves.
No, 100%.
It's just
You
stuck.
you got almost have to full on shower.
Okay, so now I'm curious. What did you order at this Fitz's?
I got we got a couple different appetizers. We got
Wow, you went all out in St. Lou.
toasted raviolis, which were very good. We got the Thai chicken skewers, which were also good.
Okay.
And then I got the chicken parm sandwich, which was very good.
Good move. I love a chicken parm sandwich.
It was tasty.
Was bread toasted?
Bread was toasted.
Dang.
It was well like breaded and crispy. And then there was so much cheese. It was incredible.
Whoa.
So much cheese on
That didn't weigh you
thing.
down for the next day?
No, we ate early because
Are you not worried about heartburn?
I don't really get a ton of heartburn.
Okay. You good enough for that?
Well, usually it's only an alcohol situation. Like I'll
okay.
get some, like if I drink a couple beers, sometimes I'll get heartburn. But
I got hit with my first adult heartburn
that's
2
a bummer.
years ago.
That's a bummer.
It sucks when it used to be heartburn was just in your chest, just my chest.
over my chest.
But then when you get that heartburn that like crawls up your throat a little bit.
Oh, that's bad.
That's-
you ever
that's
had it
when I
come
don't
up
like.
your nose?
No, not yet. Now I'm worried about the new level of heartburn.
Yeah, no, there's another level. At least there is for me.
Yeah.
I think mine's like full on like acid reflux.
Yeah.
But it's usually either if I mix alcohol in or if I like really overeat. And then especially too close to bed. If I overeat before bed, then it's,
Yeah.
But
Mine
no,
was a bachelor party. It was steak and beer.
yeah, that's
Which, I mean,
aggressive.
How many more times in my life am I going to have those? Who knows?
Probably a lot. I have to imagine very frequently. But no, it was so the chicken parm was very good. And we also ate early because I played at 11 on Saturday, and that was my last match for the day. And so we got done at like 2, and I was like, I'm starving because I didn't eat lunch. So we ate early. So
do you snack through? Can you eat and play? Do you just like hit?
So I usually will, depends on what the blood sugars are. So I ate breakfast beforehand, a couple hours before, and then I keep an eye on my blood sugars, and then I either do like Gatorade or like stuff that's easy to eat, like gummy candies and stuff.
I was always the applesauce packets. I love those things.
Yeah. I'm gonna explore different blood sugar raising devices, just to see what's out there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the gummies get a little hard to chew.
That's why. So when I was doing all the running and stuff and the training and whatnot, I always did the applesauce packets because they're easy to put into like a pack or your pockets. And then they don't weigh as much either. And then they don't melt. So
yeah, I've got them in my bag, so I don't have to worry about like them being in my pockets.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. And then on the way back, we stopped at Q39 in Kansas City.
Oh, nice.
Which apparently is a very popular place.
Very nice. You didn't go to the steak and lube?
We did not lube it up. Absolutely not. No, it was a lot of people. He's not even paying attention.
Yeah, he's
just flipping us off.
Sorry. Okay. All right.
So
Just sorry to include you in the conversation. Rico.
Q39 apparently is very popular. It was pretty good. I wasn't like
pretty good.
I wasn't like blown away. The way
if it was in Omaha, would it be one of the better ones?
It'd probably be one of the better ones. I feel like I have had better barbecue in Omaha.
Okay.
That might be a hot take. I also went to what I believe is the new location.
What are you looking for when you say that you want, like, when you're judging barbecue?
So here's the other thing that is important to note here is I probably would have ordered something different if I was like staying in Kansas City and not getting back on the road immediately.
That's because you don't want to fall asleep.
Didn't want to fall asleep. Didn't want to get anything too heavy.
Yeah, right.
Didn't want to overeat. So I just did.
Which one did you go to?
Lee Summit.
Oh, Lee Summit. Okay.
Yeah, that one was kind of on the most on the way on the interstate. But I got a triple threat sandwich, which was good.
I didn't want to eat too much, so I got a triple threat sandwich.
That's gas. That's really good.
I didn't eat all of it. The potato salad was pretty good. The pork belly was good. It was just it was pretty good. It wasn't the way some people talk about it. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Like it was, but I didn't get the ribs or anything like that. So maybe the other stuff is.
You didn't want to get the Q39 champion platter that serves 6?
That seemed a little aggressive. I'm going to be honest with you.
I was like the meat combination plates. Those are my favorites. I like those.
Yeah.
Speaking of barbecue,
The brisket at Q39 is the best.
See, I'm a little hesitant on brisket.
Yeah,
so
I've had more poor experiences with brisket than I've had excellent experiences.
That's their award-winning. Like that's where they get like all their awards from.
That's fine. I'm a little hesitant on brisket.
So apparently Waverly football, when we were there on Wednesday, they started, I think 10 years ago, maybe less than that, a barbecue competition just so they could raise money for new uniforms or whatever they need for the football team every year.
Love to see that.
And I recommended that they have Hurrdat Sports be judges for next year.
Love to hear that.
So you, Sauter?
I'm in.
Okay, bang.
The Waverly is close enough.
Rico got upset again.
I mean, he's not.
He just wanted to be included.
I mean, he can come.
No, if you do that, DB is going to be upset he left.
Oh, 100%. That's fine.
He's like, now we're doing barbecue competitions.
Yeah, he should be upset he left anyway.
Like, okay, we have the DB division where everything's been out for 4 hours. You can just sit it on the counter.
It's been sitting at the 50-yard line.
We actually cooked this on the artificial turf. It is a very slow roast, at an even 100 degrees.
It's been under the pellets for a week. It's perfectly cooked.
It's gonna be great.
We wrapped it in. We cooked it, let it cool completely, wrapped it in foil, and left it in the turned off oven for the rest of the day.
He does love storing stuff in the oven. My God,
I didn't realize that was a big thing for people. I visited a friend's house recently, and they had not boxes, but they kept like Tupperware and stuff in their oven. They're like, oh, well, we just never use our oven. I don't know if I would trust my oven to keep plastic in there.
Until the one time you go to use it and you forget your Tupperware's in there.
Remember to take everything out before you preheat that thing.
Yeah, so you got to preheat that thing. Oh, that's what he said it. I will say, when I was in my apartment, my mom put stuff in my oven when I was moving in, and I never used the oven. I had no idea there was stuff stored in there. Like when I moved out, Natasha like was looking just to make sure we didn't leave anything. And she's like, "You know, you had all this stuff in your oven?" I was like, I was unaware.
Nope, sorry.
I literally in a year did not turn the oven on.
That's quite
did not
impressive.
Open the oven.
Very impressive, actually.
So, you know,
check every crevice when you're leaving.
Exactly. You know, it's like when you're leaving a hotel, you're like, "Did I leave anything anywhere?"
I cleaned under our oven and fridge last weekend, not this past, but the weekend before. Gross. Some gross stuff back there. I got to be more regular about that. That's on me.
Yeah, or you just never look there ever at all.
Is that what you do?
Yes, 100%. I think Natasha every once in a while is like,
yeah,
because she's got the like kitchen cleaning thing from being a chef.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So she's like very
sterile environments,
diligent about that.
Yeah. And just a lot of blueberries rolled up under there. And who doesn't eat blueberries in my house? So I brought that to the attention of the blueberry eater in the home, and she immediately pointed the finger back at me. It's like, well, if someone didn't buy so many blueberries, excuse me. I didn't realize me purchasing the blueberries put them underneath the oven. That's, I guess, my fault.
Yes, that's on you. That's totally on you.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, listen, you shouldn't yell at Ava like that.
I can't do anything in my house without getting yelled at. That's what happens. We spent a wonderful weekend in Adams, Nebraska this past weekend. I posted a tweet. I can put up some videos, or I could send them to Rico if you wanted. But I went to the Adams Day tractor pull.
Oh, incredible! Electric.
I have some thoughts.
Do you?
Yeah. First and foremost, apparently that's the updated version. They were like, a local was telling me about the new things that they added. I said, yeah, we just added this new snow cone stand, and we've got Across the Tracks, which is the bar that's in Adams. They said they are the liquor sponsor, so they had that. And I was like, oh, they didn't have alcohol at this before? People came to this sober? Like, people were just watching this? And he goes, oh, no. It used to just be BYOB, but now we serve it here too. Oh, two. Okay. So we were there, and at 10 o'clock, the PA announcer just goes, all right, guys, it's 10 o'clock. You know what that means? You have to finish your drinks here. You can't have an open container out in town. And I was like, after 10? That's the rule?
Before that, it's a free-for-all?
Yeah, you just do it any other time? Like, what is it, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.? Or what was the rule there? I've also never seen so many mesh or Under Armour compression cutoff shirts in one area. That was incredible.
Like solo, that's all they were wearing?
I mean, they had pants on too, yes.
Right, but I mean, like for a top, it wasn't like it wasn't a base layer?
Yep, that was it. Yeah, just a lot of those.
I'm a big base layer guy. Not as a full shirt, though.
Yeah. No, the tractor pull. Let me see. I'm going to show you a video first, and then you can determine whether or not you want the people to see this. I did tweet a video of it. Look at this thing. Look. Oh, that's not a pull. Hold on. Let me show you this. Look at that.
What do we got here?
Dang. For our podcast listeners,
this is great for the podcast listeners.
Yeah, you're right, Brandon. Look at this. And so then they just gear up this tractor. It's on this machine that they're pulling, and then the weight there, they'll move the weight to the end. And so then it's how far the tractor can pull once the weight gets to the end. And so then the tractor will usually do this crazy kick up thing at the end to get like little extra feet in.
Can I be honest with you here?
You can say it's not interesting. That's fine.
No, I had a total misunderstanding about tractor pulls.
Oh, you thought it was like human people?
I did. I thought it was like a human person pulling a tractor.
See, you're just used to football hype videos. That's all that it is.
And World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
See, I grew up on giant people moving like semis and planes.
Yeah.
And so when I hear tractor pull, I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. Let's get some World's Strongest Man tractor pull up in here.
Kelly, I would have let you know that, he says he was in Beatrice all day Saturday. He should have just came up. Adams, naturally just about an hour drive outside of Beatrice.
About an hour drive.
We've got so many show drops that we're just going to throw in the next 24 hours.
I'm excited. Tomorrow we've got chicken. It's exciting. We've got Chicken Nick. We've got the golf tournament. We've got the show. So much excitement.
You guys going?
You told me, you gave me a little spoiler here. You didn't let me listen to it, which I appreciate in retrospect.
Yeah.
That
in the moment I could tell you were a little peeved.
I was like,
you're like, I want it. I have both.
I was like, man, I work here. Just let me hear it.
I have both songs done.
You were very hyped about the Nick Boss song.
It's one of the better ones.
So I'm excited to hear this. I'm excited to experience this tomorrow.
Yeah, it's very good. Do you want to hear? I have a bat story. You want to hear my bat story from yesterday?
Like a baseball or the animal?
The animal.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's let her rip.
So yesterday I was mowing the lawn, or I was preparing to mow the lawn, I should say. we came back from Adams. Dr. Fiance's on overnights this week. So I had said, you know what? Let's get ahead of schedule. We'll just mow the lawn early. Doesn't really need it right now, but if I let it grow out too far, whatever. So we have a shed that's like in our back attached to the house. So I go to the back, open up the shed door. And as I'm opening up the door, something just falls and just drops into the grass. And I caught enough of a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
That I thought it was just like a leaf, but I was like, what leaves would be in my shed? So I'm like poking around, I'm like looking in the grass. And remember, grass is tall.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking through and I just see what looks to almost be just like a brownish, like tan leaf that's just like turned over. I'm like, well, that doesn't look like a leaf. Like, I don't know what that could be. So I was safe and I grabbed whatever like long poker material thing that I could find, basically. And I think it was just like a longish stick in the shed.
Sure.
And just poked it. And I saw like a wing flap up and I was like, oh my God. Now, granted, this bat is probably smaller than the size of my hand.
Yeah.
Like when it's all curled up and everything.
But like in the moment, you feel like you're having like a Jeepers Creepers moment
Yeah, a little
where
bit.
like the wing comes.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, we got to be very careful about this. So naturally, I preparing to mow the lawn, I was in shorts and a cutoff. And I was like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen if I try to move this bat? Because I'm not going to run over this bat with the mower. I still have the mower in the shed. So I had to go into the shed to grab the mower out. And it is right in front of the door is where it
To
fell.
answer your question, rabies.
That's what I came to.
That is the worst.
So I determined, okay, I'm going to run back into the house. And in case something happens, I'm going to prepare myself for the worst. So the first trip I made was to grab a box because I said, oh, I can just put the bat in the box and then I can put the bat like somewhere else. So then it can just wake up on its own and do its thing. I bring the box outside and I realize, oh, I should probably put gloves on. So I go back in the house, go put gloves on. I come back to the bat. As I'm reaching for the bat with the gloves on, I go, oh, what if this bat freaks out and bites me? So I go back in the house and I put on long sleeve shirt. I go back and then I go, oh, what if it can bite through my gloves? So I go back in the house and I grab a towel. So I have made like 4 or 5 different trips between me and this bat. And this entire time, the bat is like slowly waking up because it has not only been dead asleep, it fell out of its bed. It has then been poked and raised a wing. It is now like sitting up and looking at me like this, just staring out in the distance. Finally, I have the towel, my shirt on, my long sleeve shirt on, my gloves on, and the box. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab this bat with the towel wrapped around it. I'm going to put it in the box, and then I'm just going to put the box like in the front yard, and I'm going to let it do its thing, and it can decide where it wants to go from there. I'll just let nature take its course, whatever. So as I'm doing that, I'm reaching for the bat, and the bat is head down like this with one wing, and he starts to lift up like every trip that I make. And finally, as I'm reaching towards him, he just goes, and I went,
Help me! Help me!
so then I'm standing there with a towel, my long sleeves on, like this. I'm like, I don't know what to do. This bat's pissed at me. I'm not sure. So I go back into the house.
Of course.
I go grab the car snow shovel that we have, and it's not snowing, so it's not supposed to be in my car, you know? So I grab it out, and this bat is still in this position, staring at me, and its mouth is hanging out, staring, hissing. Also, if you've never heard a bat hiss, it's not like a cat hiss where it's like, you know, it's just more like a, like just all air. So then, as I'm approaching this bat, so here, can you go do the bat? Be the bat.
I'm the bat. All right,
I've got my mini shovel.
I'm the bat.
But you're very small, remember? You're tiny. Yes, you're the bat.
I'm the bat.
So I've got my shovel, and I'm like trying to scoop underneath this bat. I'm trying to scoop this bat up. And again, this bat is this big. It is tiny. But when it put its wings out, I was like, oh, I can't become a superhero today. I cannot become Morbius, man. I can't do that.
Like I am not cut out for this.
So after the bat has its wings all the way out, I finally get it scooped up. And as I'm like trying to put it into the box with the towel laid out, it just gets up and flies.
It's like, I'm out.
But then I watched. I was like, okay, I got to make sure this bat's not come back for revenge. We should be fine.
Yeah.
I watch it fly away. It goes not only into our neighbor's yard, but like down the neighborhood. So I was like, okay, we're fine. So I start mowing the lawn, doing our thing. We have these trees in our yard that are like fruit trees. I don't know what kind of fruit they are. They just drop.
Probably where the bat came from.
Probably. And their trees are relatively like short and small. So usually I have to duck underneath the branches and stuff. And I was a little bit wary because after you have a bad experience once, you're like, where are the rest of the bats?
Yeah, you're like,
I don't know if bats run in packs like that. I don't know. I'm not a bat expert. I've only seen the Dark Knight trilogy, So
They
that's
do.
the
Seems
experience
like
I
there's a
have.
lot of them in there, though.
Yeah.
They're,
Lots of
they're like families. Lots of bats together.
Bat families. Yeah, fair. So I was mowing. I'm going underneath one of the small trees, and I'm like ducking, moving around. And I know I like move past one. I'm like pushing the mower, and I feel something hit the back of my head. And I was like, did I like come up too soon? I turn around. There's another freaking bat hanging under me. And I was like, how many bats are there? Where are all the bats coming from? So at this point, I'm like, do I need to call someone about the bats?
You might need to.
So we rent our house, and I just don't know what to do. Like, do we have a bat infestation outside? Like, is that something?
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. If they're outside, you're fine. As long as they're not inside your house.
They kind of were, though. They were in our shed that's attached to the house.
Yeah, one of them was. You might want to check your shed for more, but if they're in the tree, if they're in the trees, it's fine. Also,
I don't know.
Leave them because
though I just scooped up their friend and sent him out the door.
It's true.
they don't care.
The
bat will come back. If the bat wants to come back, it'll come back. It'll go back into the tree. You'll be fine. But they're going to get rid of the bugs in your yard.
That's true. They do eat the bugs.
Oh, speaking of that too, I was so traumatized by the bat. I've told you, I think I've told you guys, like I have this like childhood pathological fear of snakes that I can't see snakes, like all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Passed out in the Desert Dome once when I was a kid. It's the best. Anyway.
Wait,
but I have
you
this,
actually like lost consciousness in the
yeah,
desert.
I'll tell that another time. Anyway, I have this huge bat experience last night that I'm just like all out of it. And finally, like I'm mowing the lawn and the grass is like taller, all that sort of stuff. And I like run over something and it kind of gets like stuck and I like keep going over. And I was like, usually what that is that there was, a pile of poop that I missed that I didn't pick up. Right. And I'm just like, oh, it just got caught in the blade or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I run it over once, I come back, I go back again. And as I'm coming back, just some chopped up snake just hanging out bottom of my mower. That's great. It was just I had a great experience last night. And this is all at like 8:30 at night, by the way. I was just trying to beat the sun going down too. So bats flying around, all that. Every noise that hit the side of the house last night, I thought the bats were coming back.
I've got a guy you can call.
Of course you've got a bad guy, Shane.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but bright.
Yes.
To be fair,
break them over the back.
That was by far the coolest part of that video. Of the hype video.
Yes. That was good stuff.
That was the You Think Darkness is Your Ally for the blackout video was elite.
It was good.
I have to say.
Rico broke the news essentially to me. I was scrolling Twitter. And I saw it from him.
I didn't see it until he sent it to us.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? I
was there early. There were only 4 comments when I found it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I was one of the first ones.
Then, of course, Rico had to make it political right away. So
I didn't. Another podcast did.
Yeah, but then you tried to make sure that it was your thing.
My idea.
So you did make it political, is what you're saying.
I didn't make it political. I'm just upset that my idea was stolen and somebody did it better than me.
That is the worst. Don't you hate when that happens?
No, the blackout video was incredible.
It was good. I think it's a good push for a night game.
100%. I think.
But so here's the problem. There are 2 NBC games that night. Nebraska is supposed to be on one of them. The other is USC Ohio State at USC. Here's the good news, though. The good news is because it's a Southern California game, they could still have the primetime window and put it at like an 8 p.m. Central kickoff, and you could still fit Nebraska at like a 5:30 or 6 if you put it on Peacock.
We might be headed for Peacock.
Yep.
I think the night game is more important than the television, like where it is on television.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Do they occasionally? That's probably if it's an NBC.
And also, I mean, consider too that Nebraska, Washington, end of October. People will be like, you can't put that on Peacock. They'll put anything on Peacock. Like they really don't care. No. It does not matter the game, the matchup, anything.
And honestly, that's sort of the perfect game for them to put on Peacock because Nebraska fans will subscribe to Peacock just to watch their stuff, or they'll go to a bar, so the bar has to subscribe to Peacock just to watch their stuff. So like that's kind of the type of game they would put on there.
Yeah.
And we have no idea. I mean, maybe I'm right about Washington and they're not that good and it won't even be that good of a game.
There you go. Then it would be a true Peacock game.
Then it would be it'd be a BTN 11 o'clock game.
Oh, brutal. Brutal.
God, I hope not. No, it would be, I feel like they're angling for a night. I feel like they have like behind the scenes discussions.
Oh, 100%.
Like, hey, can we get this one at night?
Well, and nothing else too. You have to consider that it's not Nebraska pressuring NBC and being like, oh, look, we're going to do a blackout. Look how much better it would look. Like they're trying to give them the best television exposure possible. They're saying, look how much better this would be if you put us on whatever time.
This is a good atmosphere for NBC as well. My only hesitation with the night game on that particular weekend is you've got a short week the next week with Illinois.
That's true.
Illinois is on a Friday, so like the night game, I feel like it matters, like an 8 to 10 hour difference. I do feel like matters in terms of recovery and stuff like that. So I don't know. That would be my only hesitation.
Yeah. Because then that Sunday has to
your
be
Sunday has to be a recovery day as opposed to getting recovery in on Saturday and maybe being able to do a walkthrough or film. Like Sunday's gonna have to be like only film, nothing physical on it.
Yeah.
So
see, you're always worried about the football of it. I just want the nice little.
No,
picture.
I get it. I want the night game. I'm saying if the only benefit of not having a night game would be the recovery for Illinois.
That's a good thought. See,
look silver linings. Big silver linings guy.
Three layer problem. I still think even if you kick that game off at 2:30 or 3:30, end of October, you're still going to get a night-ish atmosphere. And there's nothing I know the kickoff is what everybody wants, right? You want the tunnel walk, you want all that stuff, you want the light show, everything. I think you still get a decent amount of the atmosphere with the setting sun and everything behind you.
Yeah.
I don't know what time does the sunset usually end of October? 6:30, 7? It can't be.
No, it's
Is it earlier than that?
Well, so we don't have daylight savings, I don't think yet by that point. That's in November, so it should be like 7:30.
Okay.
Maybe 7. Well, I'll Google it real quick.
So you're praying for overtime if you're NBC. If you kick off at 2:30, you're praying for overtime.
Please. We're gonna Google it real quick. In Nebraska, there we go. What time does the sun set on Halloween in Nebraska? I don't know if 6:22 p.m. in eastern Nebraska.
That's Lincoln.
Yeah. So it'd be like after the game ends.
I thought it was interesting too that Rhule on Saturday got asked about what the team thought, and he just straight up said, "Oh, they didn't know." He was like, "They were practicing when it got announced. We didn't tell them. They just found out."
They're probably looking at it right now.
They seemed like they liked it though.
Well, he did go out of his way to say, "Hey, when I talked to recruits and players and stuff like that, this was the blackout game with USC last year is one of the things they talk about." And it's like and he's right. Like it's a very, for people that aren't, the day in, day out fans that you're either trying to get interested in the school or trying to get excited about something, like it is a big deal. And that USC game atmosphere was unbelievable.
Yes. It was one of our favorites.
It was. I will say also, I think the uniforms are better this year.
I agree. So that's what I was going to ask you too. I think it feels more alternate uniform rather than just saying, "Oh, we have black uniforms."
Yeah, it's last year. And listen, I thought they looked pretty cool. It did sort of just feel like they ran out of color ink in their printer. That was sort of it was just the exact same uniform, just black and white.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, did my TV break? Like that's sort of what it felt like. This seems much more intentional.
Yeah,
you've got and I'll be honest, the glossy Huskers on the helmet looks nice.
Script Huskers is very
good.
The
Script Huskers is a good logo. I'm a big fan of that. There's I think somebody said there's little flecks of like red in the black helmet.
Yeah, we're getting into a phase of uniform design where people are just throwing glitter on a bunch of helmets and stuff. I think it looks cool. I'm not complaining.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not complaining. I think it looks good.
I think I'm in.
Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it. I've got no problem with it. I do think
Austin very into glitter, famously.
Listen, the Panthers did it first. Hall of Fame game. If Anthony Calandria scrambles in for a game-winning touchdown in the last seconds in glitter helmets, we should always wear glitter helmets.
The legend Haynes King.
Just saying. I do think that it's funny because you mentioned that, this felt like they ran out of ink or that sort of stuff. these are essentially the regular uniforms now.
A little bit.
They have
the helmets. Different.
The helmets are different, yes,
different. But with the stripes and everything, yes.
Yeah.
But I do like the pop of red with the black. I think that's a good look. I still don't understand. And listen, Adidas, I'm sure you're listening, but I just give me the skull and crossbones black shirt logo with the blackout. Like give me the.
They did that already, didn't they?
Did once, I think.
Was that the UCLA?
I don't remember if it was on the helmet or if it was on the jersey.
It was on the shoulders, and it was the Scott Frost, the black and the white alternates. The black one had the skull and crossbones. The white one also had the skull and crossbones. Yeah. But they never wore the white ones.
Oh, so you're just clamoring for more Scott Frost is what you wanted.
I'm clamoring for skull and crossbones on the helmet.
On the helmet.
That's what I would like.
What if you get helmet on one side and the script Huskers on the other, like that?
I don't like helmets having different stuff on different sides. That's not a big thing for me.
I'm a huge pro one side of the helmet. I really like that.
I'm okay with one side of the helmet and the other side's blank.
Yes.
I don't like two different
Westside
logos.
does that, don't they? Don't they just do the W on one? Or is that one of their alternates? I think they do that.
That might be an alternate. Okay. I think the regulars have.
Are you a fan of logo on one side, number on the other?
No. I want number on the back on each side of the stripe.
Okay.
I want either double logo, same logo, or one logo, blank. That's fine. My preference is double logo, same logo.
So like what Boise State used to do with the Bronco on one side, but now they put the number on the other side.
So that
I don't hate that.
A little different because it's like not
like the whole side,
whole helmet.
Yeah,
that's a little different. I can deal with that, but I just don't. I don't know. I think sometimes you just need to I like the symmetry. I'm a big symmetry guy.
Yeah, keep it simple. Easy to do.
I do love the script Huskers though.
The script Huskers are very nice. It's also glossy. I
like a little glossy.
I fret for anyone who's trying to see Nebraska for the first time and be like, what does that say on the helmet? Huh?
It's not nearly as bad as the red with the silver.
Oh, yeah.
Those were nightmare.
Those were tough.
Those were the worst.
The leather helmet ones, the Illinois game a couple of years ago.
I didn't like that one.
Those were also odd. Those were the only uniforms I've ever seen that you could actually understand what the uniform was up close, like strictly standing 6 inches from the uniform.
I really liked the I think they were like the white camo ones.
Buffalo, yeah,
and had that like the NU with. I like the interlocked NU a lot. Though that's one of my favorite logos. Yeah. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I like the interlocked NU a lot.
Good. Yeah, there's not many alternates that I don't like from Nebraska. It's just you're not trapped by the color scheme by any means. I think that you have like a lot of possibilities, but the fact that Nebraska does not use black in its current like traditional uniform helps it out a lot because then anytime you bust out anything with all black, it makes it much better.
I'm cool if the all black is like the permanent alternate. I love the all black look. I just let's mix it up a little bit. Like they did from last year to this year. I like that they changed it a little bit.
I don't like road alternates. That was something that the Big Ten kind of got into a lot. And especially when they were playing like Wisconsin, we'd always have some weird alternate uniform, whether it was home or away. I never liked that. Those were never for me.
You know which one I think really sucked that I didn't like
the first Nebraska, like the black helmet with the red on red?
No, the one with the giant N on the chest.
Oh, which one were those? I think that's the same one.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the Wisconsin like 2012.
Yeah.
Because they had the big W.
Yeah, terrible.
Yep.
Terrible.
The only thing I remember most about that game, obviously Nebraska won it, but I do remember Jared Abbrederis having like 4 catches for 1 billion yards.
Big Abbrederis guy.
Yeah. He was elite.
He was pretty good.
Jared Abbrederis is good.
He was a good college wide receiver.
Yeah. Him and
never heard from
Toon,
him again.
Right? Nick Toon?
Yeah, Nick Toon, son of Al Toon.
People forget. That was never brought up.
People forget about Al Toon. Nobody ever remembered that he played in the NFL.
No. Not
son of NFL tight end Al Toon.
Nope. They just think he was a character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Nick Toon?
Toons? Is that too deep of a cut for you?
Yeah, I don't
know. That's a good pull, Austin.
Thank you.
Not a big Who Framed Roger Rabbit guy.
Who's shocked that Rico knows a cartoon reference?
I'm stunned.
He goes, it's anime. You wouldn't know.
He loves it.
I'm pretty sure Ravi's the outlier here, not knowing Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So don't do that.
You know who Jessica Rabbit is?
I'm aware of I've never seen it though. So in terms of
okay,
I'm aware of the characters and what it's called, but I've never seen it. So any plot points like the tunes, I'm not gonna get that.
The whole point of Who Framed Roger Rabbit is that it's about tunes. You should have understood that if you understand what the movie is about.
I mean, I don't know what it's about. I just know aware of its existence.
Then you should know the Toons reference.
I don't know the Toons
That
reference.
doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
You're speaking in circles.
You're speaking in circles.
No, what? I got chased by a family of bats. All right.
You're chased by 2 bats.
I have never been more in tune with nature.
Did one of them bite you?
I hope not. That was the other part too. That was running through my head in every trip back to the house.
Sure.
That I was like, if I do get bit, where do I go? Because fiance was at the hospital, and it's a children's hospital. Can I go? I mean, she is my future wife.
You gotta go to. You gotta
sucks.
You gotta go to big boy
That
hospital.
sucks.
You gotta go to an adult hospital.
Damn it.
You gotta
I
go.
would have taken you to the hospital, Austin.
Thank you, Brandon.
You gotta go to big boy hospital.
Brandon also lives 60 streets away from me. I would have been rabied up.
By the time you realize you have rabies, it's too late.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
How does rabies work?
If you
Do I start foaming at the mouth or
start
something?
to have symptoms, you are toast.
What are symptoms of rabies?
Really, really thirsty.
You get really thirsty, but you're terrified of water.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Rabies is
That
you
can
get,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's,
Is that real?
that's true.
I'm terrified
You
of
cannot-
water.
yeah, you cannot drink water. Like you try to drink water and your body's just like, nope, but you're super thirsty.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
Foaming at the mouth is like one of the last symptoms, I think.
Really?
I think there's like
And that's
delirium.
why like you get aggressive.
delirium or
That's why like
confusion.
animals get aggressive because they're like super dehydrated, but they can't drink water. So they're just like, what is happening? And
Yeah.
they just get mad.
Yeah,
Wow.
like it's messing with your brain pretty hard.
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
and it's one of those where like if you get treated, you're good, but by the time you realize you have symptoms, you're done.
Why
basically
do you know so much about rabies?
this is common knowledge, I feel like.
What do you mean it's common knowledge?
It's like if
I
you
looked
get
it up once.
if you get bit by a wild animal, you basically have to go get treated immediately.
Well, I understand that. I just didn't know that
Because-
everyone knew
no,
of the.
But this is because if you get to the point where you have symptoms, you are literally dead. It has a 100% fatality rate. once you
Really?
get- I'm almost positive it's a 100% fatality rate once you have symptoms.
Meredith was fine in the office.
Because she went and got her shots as soon as she got bit.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
Immediately.
Okay.
It's like the progression of the illness. Like once you have symptoms, you are way too far gone.
Okay. Good thing I didn't get bit because I did determine in my head on one of the trips that I was not going to go to the hospital if I got bit.
No, you'd be dead.
Okay.
Not like today, but soon.
Interesting.
I don't know how
But
long
see,
it
what would have
takes.
happened is I would have told the story on this show, and you would have said, "You need to go get your rabies shot.
Yes,
you got to
100%.
get out of here."
Although I don't know if we're too late. I don't know like what the time frame is to get in there. I think you have to go pretty fast.
Wow, I'm learning a lot today.
Let's see. We're gonna Google this. How long do you have?
We have any vets in the chat? I think that's the one profession we don't have in our chat is a veterinarian. I don't think I've seen a veterinarian yet.
How long do you have to get a rabies shot? Ideally within 24 hours. But
Oh, so I would have been fine. I could have came in. I could have done the show.
as soon as it says as soon as possible, but ideally within 24
Yeah,
hours.
I could have done the show, explained myself, and you would have said, "Go get your rabies shot," and then I would have went. I would have probably been very thirsty, but I would have been fine.
It says while there is no hard cutoff time because incubation period varies, treatment must begin before symptoms appear, as rabies is almost always fatal once clinical signs start.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Isn't that wild?
I thought I could just like sleep it off.
No, you cannot sleep it off.
Dang.
Well, you would forever sleep it off.
That's fair. Well, good thing I did double
sleep
creatine
off
in my
the
water,
Have you thought?
like Darren Peterson.
Have you ever? Yeah, you better not be careful. You're gonna start cramping up over there.
So if I start cramping because of my double creatine, are you going to be positive that's because of the creatine or because it's not rabies?
No, I'm gonna be like, I think Austin has rabies, guys. I think he got bit. Nobody
Great
told him.
rumor to start in the office.
Austin has
Like,
rabies.
I think Austin got rabies.
Yeah, no, he got bit by a couple bats. I don't.
We should
Getting
do
bit
that.
by a couple of bats is crazy because being bit by one bat implies that maybe you just stumbled upon a bat, whatever. But being bit by a second bat means that it was intentional. Like you were going out of your way to get bit.
You're like, I'm
Austin,
Batman.
yeah, Austin thought he could turn into Batman by getting bit by bats. I don't know, man.
He never saw those movies. He didn't really understand.
He's like, he got Batman and Spider-Man confused. He was like, is this how it works?
Yeah, it's really just holding the guy.
Austin found a bat in his backyard and he goes, "My time is here."
Where is he?
Bye bye.
Where is he?
Bye bye. Oh no.
Oh,
Sorry,
next gen.
Hold on. We'll fix it.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
I think that means it's time to take a break since we lost the hat.
Yep. That's our reset topic. Chicken.
Subject change.
Stay there.
That's Austin. I'm Ravi. Coming up on the show today, we've got Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. As you well know, it's Monday, so of course we have Sam. Then we've got at 8:30 one of our favorite NFL guests, Arif Hassan from WideLeft.Football. We'll talk about preseason. We'll talk about Emmett Johnson with his debut as well. And then at 9:30, we start to preview Rutgers. Brian Fonseca covers Rutgers for NJ Advanced Media and the Star Ledger. We will talk about all things Rutgers football at 9:30. That's
wait.
Austin. I'm Ravi. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Your schedule is filling up. Get back to busy at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2027 Kia Seltos S starting at just $269 a month. Ready for every run on the calendar. 2 great leases, 1 less thing to worry about. We've also got the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $249 a month. Don't wait. Get back to busy this August at Edwards Kia.
No, I didn't feel like our freshmen had too many nerves to, I think there was other players that, Terea, she's being asked and been talked about in the media a lot, and, Campbell, and I think players that are really, hoping to showcase their improvement, they in front of fans. I think they might have been a little more nervous than the freshmen are like, yay, we're happy to be here. Those guys are like, they have something to prove coming into their sophomore year. And again, those sophomores have improved so much, and so they want to show it and, show the fans and everybody how much they've improved, and the same things we see every day in practice.
Kids who came to that game, as I've gone back and recruited them, they talk about the energy, the passion, that was in the crowd that night. I don't know if Washington would probably be a day game, night game, I don't know, but times up well with Halloween, and to do one alternate. I think the thought process here is just to do one alternate jersey uniform a year, being black, having a blackout, and then having our iconic uniforms, red and white, white and red every other game. We're going to wear black cleats. We're not going to wear white cleats. We're not going to wear red cleats. We're going to just wear the same thing every game and let the football speak for itself. But they did blackout. It's really cool nationally. It's really cool in recruiting. The fans all have a black Nebraska jacket when it gets close to November, so it makes for an easy sell. And I thought our fans rallied around it last year. So, like all things, some people might like it, some people don't, but certainly the recruits and the players like it. And looked like last year a lot of people liked it. So.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We'll be joined in just a little bit by Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Austin, in between dodging bats for your life and not
potential rabies,
not realizing that rabies is fatal and all things like that. Did you get to watch any preseason football?
I watched bits and pieces, mostly Chiefs. I was at a Chiefs household over the weekend, so got to watch a lot of natural EJ, which was nice. And also a little too much Garrett Nussmeier in my television, but that's okay.
A lot of Garrett Nussmeier.
There was a very heavy dose of Garrett Nussmeier in that game.
Garrett Nussmeier is a great example of why we have to be a little careful with these preseason quarterback lists.
Yes,
because last year at this time he was projected to go 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
He did not.
What do you mean?
Famously. Was he fifth or sixth round? He was deep.
Yeah, I was almost to the point where I couldn't remember if he even got.
I believe he got drafted. But I think it was fifth or sixth round.
7th round, 249th overall.
Wow,
that is way down there.
He was aiming for that Brock Purdy status.
Well, you know what's funny too is Drew Aller actually had I saw on Bleacher Report he was a winner for his first preseason game. Okay,
where did Drew Aller end up?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he was the third quarterback in.
Because I gave DB a hard time about having Drew Aller.
He loves his Penn State.
Loves
Penn State
and Penn State.
Yeah, Happy Valley. Yep. He can't wait to go back.
It's a great place to be.
He loves Happy Valley.
Drew Aller is kind of funny. I was actually thinking about Drew Aller the other day because I think there's a distinct possibility, and I'm promise I'm not just trying to be a hater.
That wouldn't be like you.
No, that's not me. That's not me at all. I think Drew Aller might be sort of the template for what we may end up seeing for Dylan's career.
Oh,
like a very highly touted guy that just never one of the big issues with Drew Aller, especially when people are, I think it was coming after his second year starting, where he had like a 20-2 touchdown interception ratio. So like very impressive looking numbers from the, but like
and won a lot of games.
Yeah, and won a decent amount of games. But you watch him and you're just kind of like, I kind of need a little more there. Wasn't quite was really hesitant to push the ball down the field. Held on to the ball too long, quite a bit of time. Didn't really wasn't a mobile guy at all. I just think I think Drew Aller might be like the kind of a good version of what Dylan's career might end up being. I mean, obviously he got drafted. He's in the NFL, but as opposed to what maybe we thought it was going to be as a potential early round draft pick, things like that. Like it's giving me Drew Aller vibes where it's like, yeah, the numbers are pretty good, but it doesn't quite look as good as the numbers would lead you to believe. Like, because what was Dylan last year? Like 70% completion, like 18-6, I think. Like, hey, these are pretty good numbers, but if you're watching him actually operate the offense, it's a very frustrating experience at times.
Yeah, it's interesting you say it like that, though, because like you just mentioned, watching a couple of the preseason games, Aller, if you just like looked at a little bit of his stats, I did not watch as much of that preseason game. But Ty Simpson obviously was for the Rams. And there are a lot of throws. I don't know if it's just in the preseason or just first year quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are getting comfortable in those type of systems or the scale of the NFL. I don't know that I saw Simpson throw a ball past 8 yards. And I don't even know if it was necessarily, I'm just taking checkdowns, I'm just looking for completions or whatever the scheme may have been, if that was what the opening was. But it reminded me a lot of times of what we saw from Dylan last year. That there was a lot of times, and I thought, notably the Cincinnati game, it was part of the game plan. Hey, if they're going to have 3 safeties back, then we're going to be playing a lot of the underneath. We're going to throw the ball 45 times. We're going to utilize this as part of the running game. But I wonder if that's just part of the evolution of what either the NFL is coming to, or is that maybe more entail of quarterbacks just aren't as ready as they have been in past generations of quarterbacks, that we have to get them comfortable in these new schemes.
I think there's a couple things here. Number one, I do think Ty Simpson in particular only started 1 year, does not have a lot of reps, right? So when you're talking about a guy that has under 20 starts in his career in college, probably not going to be quite as ready to go and developed as other guys, like a Fernando Mendoza who had way more than that. The other part of it is, I think the issue isn't so much the checkdowns and things like that. It's how quickly you process what's happening in front of you, right? Like I think Dylan actually executed one of his best game plans against Cincinnati because he was getting the ball out. He was taking what the defense gave him. I have no problem with that at all. It's when you either don't process or are too indecisive and then you end up checking down because by the time you decide what you've seen or what you want to do, the only option is running back out of the backfield or tight end sitting over the middle or whatever in that sense. So like I think there's a big difference in like on rhythm checkdowns, getting the ball out quickly, things like that versus not processing things well or being indecisive.
Is there a similarity between being indecisive and something we talked about last week, specifically with Dylan, in basically giving your guys a chance down the field?
100%.
Is that confidence?
I think I think for a lot of people, and this is why I brought up Drew Aller, I think it's a risk aversion. Like I think one of the issues.
That's a good term. That's what I was looking for.
I think that one of the things Penn State fans would have complained the most about Drew Aller, especially. So 2023 is the year I was talking about, coming off his second season at Penn State, his first full season as starter. He only completed 60% of his passes, or just under 60% of his passes, but his touchdown interception ratio was like 25-2. Like it was unreal touchdown interception ratio, but no one was enamored with how he played. Right. And so you're like, okay, you're looking at really good touchdown interception numbers, not great completion percentage, but pretty good numbers overall. And you go,
is that when Prebula started to get some run in their packages and stuff? Because they would run him out there a couple of times for like,
I don't remember.
Okay.
I know I thought that was his second year as a starter. I thought that was in 2024, but I could be wrong.
I think that sounds right.
But so you see these numbers and you're like, that should be a guy that we're all talking about. And no one was really enamored with him going into his second year as a starter. They're like, oh yeah, we need a little bit more out of Drew Aller. And you're like, wait, he had a 25-2 touchdown interception ratio. If you weren't watching him operate that offense, you'd think people were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you actually, same thing, I think the same thing with Dylan. Was he the best quarterback on the roster last year? Absolutely. Did he give Nebraska the best chance to win last year? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But whether it's like a Garrett Nussmeier, I think Sam Levitt falls in this category a little bit. Certainly Drew Aller fell in this category. As if you're not watching them on a week in, week out basis operate the offense, you can get really distracted by the numbers in seeing like, oh, look, he must be pretty good, but against good competition. Even Dante Moore a little bit falls into this 100%, category.
Yeah. No, everything is faster for Dante the lower the talent level is compared to his own team. Because as soon as it matches his team, everything slows down for him. And you saw it, the Indiana game, he got picked off multiple times, obviously in the biggest stage. There's been multiple times when he's played equal talent level opponents. Penn State was a great example of it too last year, even that there were times where it looked like he's taking the extra beat. He's not as quick to make a decision. And that snap throw that he has against Michigan State, or he has against Oregon State, or he has against, whoever that they're playing at a different level, he isn't as quick to make those certain throws.
I think people would make the argument both about Dante Moore and about Dan Lanning, two people that we think are pretty good at their jobs, that when like competition is on the field or like talent's on the field, we have a lot more question marks than we think we would, considering what their records and stats are.
It's interesting too. You're saying all this sort of stuff, and not to lump him into this conversation, but the Big Ten Network was at Nebraska's practice and did their fall preview. I actually think that they were there Friday, and then the show was played on Saturday, because they discussed and talked about how they didn't get to see a scrimmage and they weren't there for the scrimmage. They got to see everything beforehand. So I'm assuming that they probably just aired it the next day. But Dana Holgorsen talked a little bit about TJ Lateef and how he'd come along. I thought it was really, really interesting that Dana specifically said about TJ, everything that TJ does doesn't change if it's Calandria or TJ with the offense. The only thing TJ has to do is he's got to speed everything up.
He's got to speed up his decision making. He's just got to speed up his processing.
Which, technically speaking, is kind of the same thing you're talking about at kind of different levels, right? Because sometimes it's indecisiveness. Sometimes it's just the understanding. Speed. Yes. And other times it's just being like, where am I in the function of the rest of this play?
That was, and we'll take a break here and get to Sam, but one of the things that I was most encouraged by what Dana said was how quickly Anthony Calandria processes information. Because that is, especially for a quarterback, and maybe this is just because I'm like Brock Purdy pilled and whatever, but that's the only thing Brock Purdy is exceptional at.
Right.
Is processing information quickly. And
he's gotten paid like he's a great quarterback, though, because of it.
But like physically, super average.
Yeah.
Like he might be above average accuracy, but it like doesn't have special arm talent, not a special athlete, like average to above average in all of his physical traits. But my God, that guy processes information so fast that if you can do that in a system like Dana Holgorsen has, if you've got a really high processor, I will take my chances with that guy. And it sounds like, at least from what Dana Holgorsen said over the weekend, And as we know, Dana doesn't pull a lot of punches. That Clay injury processes information really, really fast, which is super encouraging. Let's take a quick break. We will have Sam McKewon coming up next here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
He's one of the guys that, like, there's two types of football players. Those you have to tell speed up all the time. Those you have to tell slow down. Like, he'd run through a brick wall if it's in front of him for no other reason other than it's there. I mean, he's just kind of a full steam ahead guy. He's a unique brain. And he came to me last year, obviously on the third ACL, he came to me last year and was like, he was thinking about not playing, thinking about playing. He decided to come back and play. And with no promises, in terms of you could do all this work and what happens, but, it's just the type of kid he is. He wanted to come back and play. He came to me about moving to defense, and he had significant offers coming out of high school to go play defense. Obviously, he started as a true freshman, caught a touchdown, I think, at LSU, so he could help you certainly at tight end. But I think he thought, whether it was the knee, whether it was, he wanted to play defense. And I think you see a big, powerful man on the edge that will get more comfortable every day. He can bend the corner. He has speed. He can go speed to power. He can set edges. He's really, really, really an explosive athlete, unlike many. And so.
We're just talking about knowing tendencies a little bit. Again, 13 blocks. I mean,
Gosh.
like 5 in a row in the second set.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even know that.
How do you feel your blocking was working out there?
Well, first of all, I did not know 13. I really feel like the only team that could hit a. Let me restart. I feel like sorry, I'm just shocked. I feel like the only team that could hold us down to whatever percentage we had today is ourselves. So yes, maybe the blocking number was great, but it's because those are my teammates. I know them very well. I know what they like to do. I know what they like to hit. So yeah, it wasn't all me. It was not all me. Goodness.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, there's things to clean up, a lot to clean up. As I tell our guys, like, two things can be true. They've done a nice job through 9 practices. They've come a long way. There's a long way to go. And so whether it's snap counts, cadences, shifts, motions, trades, communication on defense, that all will hopefully continue to improve each day.
Welcome back. Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mayo Medical. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, how are we doing this morning?
Great, guys. How are you today?
Doing all right. Sam, did you survive all the rain? Ravi just showed me a Facebook video of Lincoln flooding over the weekend. I didn't realize that much had came through the capital city.
No, we were all right. There's parts of Lincoln that flood a lot more easily than others. Usually those are on the north and east sides of town. I live sort of southwest-ish, so there's more hills. So it has somewhere to go. Not too far away from where I'm at. So it's we don't have as many flooding issues where I'm at. They do on the other part of town though. But no, we're all right. And we'll take the rain. It's made for great grass. It's all the golf courses look great, and I'm sure the turf down at Nebraska, we saw it last Tuesday. It's in incredible shape. The grass practice fields that they're on, they look really, really good.
Sam, how interested or how into the alternate uniforms and the uniform reveal videos do you get?
Well, I was probably an hour behind everybody because I'm like running errands early Saturday morning, and that's when they released it. And so I didn't see it until maybe 45 minutes after it had been released, because I'm not sitting on Twitter on Saturday morning waiting for a video release. I don't really know what the strategy was there.
That's probably
but they they released it then. I thought it was okay. I mean, the helmet's pretty cool, and the uniform is super busy. I don't really understand why it's so busy. It doesn't need to be. I would stay away from the Nebraska black font that they use for basketball and for other things. I don't think that's all that great from my perspective, but I don't know. It's busy. Louisville put out their own alternate that was black, and I think Adidas did that as well, and that just looks much more straightforward. Anytime you do an alternate, I would think that you do less with your alternate. The alternate look needs to be stripped down. It needs to be simple so that people can kind of just okay, that's what it's going to be. And last year, Nebraska's was all black. And you're like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's just the black version of Nebraska's normal uniform. And it looked good. And the helmet was just the normal helmet with a black stripe and the black end and, the whole thing. So that to me is what a good alternate does. And then there's the alternate where you're trying to look completely different, and the helmet works. I will give it that. But the rest of it's just sort of busy. And I mean, it's marketing. That's what it's for. And I'll tell you what, Matt Rhule wore a Cool Bones hat on Saturday. And if they just made a black helmet with that on it, and they just get a regular black jersey, that would have been cool enough for me. And I think everybody really would have liked it. The more stuff you put on anything, really, the more opportunity you're giving for viewers to be like, I don't like that part of it. So that's kind of my reaction.
Sam, we just had a conversation earlier. I'm a big fan of the skull and crossbones on the helmet. I feel like that needs to happen at some point with the blackout uniforms.
Yeah, that would be unique and interesting, and that would be fine. The Huskers is fine too. I'm not a big fan of mixing every brand that you have. So they have the Husker script, and they have the black Nebraska, and they have, I think somewhere they've got the block N, and it's just a lot. You don't need to mix all the fonts, and then the black font on the jersey contrasts with the circular, with the sans serif numbers and all these other things. There's just a lot going on with that uniform, and that's the way it goes, and we'll all survive. There's no guarantee that's a night game, by the way. I've read somewhere Nebraska must have good intel. I don't know how they would have that. Ohio State USC is the top game that weekend, and unless that game goes to Fox, and unless Nebraska knows that CBS has the first choice that week, which maybe they do, I don't really know, then there's no way to guarantee it. And on top of that, NBC will let it play out. If NBC has an option, I think Indiana plays Minnesota. I can't remember what it is. But if Nebraska's 4-3 and Washington's 4-3, they're not just going to be well, Nebraska has a uniform they'd like to put on, so let's put this game at night. That's not how they're going to do that. So I think that the certainty that it's a night game is just not there. I think it could be a day game. Back in 2013 and 2015, Nebraska wore black during the day. And so it's possible that this will be a day game as well. You just never know.
Sam, on the note of the fall camp that's continuing on, the amount of media availability we've heard from Rhule a couple of times now. Have you noticed or have you picked up on, is there a general theme or maybe just like a mantra, something along those lines that you've kind of noticed through the first 2 weeks that have continued on and what you've heard similarly from coaches and players alike?
Yeah, their expectations for their offense are high. I think that comes out in the form of praise, in the form of confidence. But anytime that you have praise and confidence, there's also an expectation. So the expectation is that the offense isn't just going to be something that they feel good about, but a group that produces and scores points. So I think that's one of the key takeaways. We will not hear from the special teams coordinator, Brett Maher, until tomorrow. We've heard very little about special teams in camp. I think we over-focus on the returners. I wasn't there on Saturday, but my focus is rarely returners. I think we do that because they also play other positions, and I get that. But the most important team is the punt team. It's number one, the punter, the punt team. Most important. I was watching Kyle Whittingham over the weekend. I do a lot of this, where I watch a lot of Big Ten coaches' press conferences. And this is the one where he said the thing about, I don't know, he was asked about the hate thing again, which is getting kind of old and stupid. But he was asked about special teams. And one of the things that he was asked about, and it was particularly salient, was just like, he goes, well, I used to be the special teams coordinator back in whatever day it was, whether it was at Utah or somewhere else, I don't know. And he said, the number, somebody asked him about starters on special teams. And he said, well, I limit my starters to certain special teams except for punt. And he said, punt is the most important special team. It's the one where we let everybody who wants to be on it. And it's because it's the most important special team. It is. It's like the ability to take away a team's field position through great punting and great coverage is an absolute weapon. And you have to be able to utilize it. And, we'll see. We'll see if Nebraska is able to get there. It's the one thing we haven't heard much about is how Archie Wilson's doing, how the punting's going. They definitely need to improve their punting. I think they know that. And it's an area where they weren't great last year, and everybody focused a lot on the returns, and that's very, very true. Don't get me wrong. But they need to be they need to be an elite punting team. Most of the really, really good Big Ten teams over the years have been elite punting teams. And Nebraska's not been that. In fact, in many years, they have been bad. So they weren't bad last year, but they have been several times in the last 5 or 6 years, and it's cost them games. I remember Brett Maher winning Nebraska a game back in 2011 at Penn State with his punting. He made a field goal too, but he won the game with his punting. Like, their field position was so bad the entire game that they had a very hard time moving the football, and they didn't score until late in the game because of his punting. So he understands the value of it, and I'm assuming he's working hard on it.
Sam, when you talk about the offense and hear the coaches talk about the offense, one of the things that stuck out to me yesterday or over the weekend, I suppose, was the comments that Dana Holgorsen made about how quickly Anthony Calandria processes things on the field and in terms of sort of ingesting the playbook and things like that. How big of a deal is that to you? Having obviously we have not seen much outside of spring game and just a little preview of practice. How much does that impact how you think about this offense if Dana's telling the truth in that, hey, Anthony Calandria processes things incredibly quickly on the field?
I think that's good. I think you'll never turn that down. It probably gets you some quick game stuff that maybe Dylan at times could struggle with because Dylan was just moving a little bit more slowly, although Dylan wasn't like, he could process. So like he wasn't like bereft of those skills. But maybe you get the quick game going a little bit more. Although I think it was chalked up to Taylor Martinez was sometimes guessing. Taylor was like an incredibly fast processor, in part because perhaps he was guessing. But he was incredibly fast. And so like you go back and look at 2012 and 2013 when he wasn't hurt. And like that little out route to Quincy Enunwa was thrown maybe a quarter of a second after the snap. Like it was quick. and they were able to get quick game stuff. A 3rd and 3 was a first down because when Nunn or Bell would get that ball and boom, they were gone. They were very, very quick. Other guys, Tanner Lee was a quick processor, but he threw interceptions as a result because he threw the ball before guys were doing what they were supposed to be doing. So it can go both ways. I think Calandria will be a guy that makes some plays because of his processing, and I think there's going to be times when he goes for it and it's a risk. They bait him into something. Joe Gans was a really quick processor, and at times that would get you a big play. At times it gets you the pick 6 at Oklahoma. Sometimes that stuff's going to happen, and you live with it. You can't get too caught up in a mistake. You don't want it to be a pick 6. Obviously, you rarely win games where there's a pick 6 on your side, except when USC beat Nebraska. And so, you got to try to figure out how to avoid that play, but take the benefits of the process.
Okay, so Sam, just out of curiosity on that same note, I know you mentioned some of the past Nebraska quarterbacks just through that. With Calandria itself, when we're talking about, I guess, the understanding of the offense and how Dana talked about, his processing and everything that Ravi just asked you from the Big Ten Network special that they had done, what do you think is the thing that Calandria needs to do that? I guess you kind of answered it there, but is it decisiveness in the pocket? Is it when to take off and run with his mobile ability? Is it something else? What do you think specifically is Dana looking for that he likes so much in making that comment comparative to where Dylan was a year ago?
All those things. I think all those things are qualities that he's going to have. I think the ability to recognize the deep ball early. If you're able to see coverage and see that your guy's going to have an advantage, and then he gets a very tiny advantage and that ball's out of your hand quickly on a deep ball, whether it's a 27-yarder or a 40-yarder, I think you can make it more likely that you're going to hit that pass because you're going to throw it before the safety reacts. So sometimes it's understanding what coverage options you have and what opportunities are available to you and taking advantage of those opportunities. So I think that's some of it. I think quick game is some of it. Dylan was not great there. He was okay. I think that was an area where, I was kind of hoping they would get better last year, and I didn't. I think they tried, but it just didn't coalesce. They were pretty good on screen passes, like tunnel screens, and a tunnel screen is not a quick screen. You know what I mean? That's a developed play. They were pretty good at that, but I'm talking okay, guy goes in motion, whatever you want to call that route, a swing route, a smoke route, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I'm not that much of a football guy, but that guy goes in motion and you put that ball right where it needs to be, and you're putting it there as fast as humanly possible. And the reason that's important is because a lot of times it's hard for those guys on the perimeter to keep that block for, 27 seconds or something. So you got to make sure you're getting the ball out fast and that receiver's getting the ball. I think Calandria is going to be good there. And then I think he's going to create some plays offensively with his feet. He might run into a sack or two as well, because he's done that too. And one of the things that the guys protecting for him will have to understand is, okay, where is my quarterback relative to where the man that I'm blocking is? And you got to be thoughtful about how you, when you're pass blocking, what you're trying to accomplish, because all of a sudden the quarterback that you were pass blocking for may be on the other side of the play, and all of a sudden the guy that you're blocking has an easier way of getting to him. So that'll be a chemistry that they figure out both in camp, and then once the season begins, they'll have to figure those things out. But yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway is the offense. The defense, I think, just on the BTN and just the comments they've given to us, I think they're trying to keep it. They're trying to play it pretty close to the vest. I don't think they want to give away everything they're going to do. I also don't think they want to put ridiculous pressure on guys who still have to do it. Right? And so, I think that's one of the other things with that defense is you have to make sure that you're not guaranteeing anything right off the jump. I would say at this moment, their defensive line looks a little bit ahead of where it was last year because of some of the additions and because maybe the scheme will be a better fit. I'd say the interior group might be a little bit better at this moment than maybe the edges. But I don't think that means anything harsh for the edges. Other people will tell you the edges are ahead. But I think Jasir Whittington's probably the best defensive lineman of the 4 starters. So I think he's good, and I think Riley Van Poppel's going to be pretty good. So I'd say that interior group is looking pretty good, and then with the edges, the reason I just hold off just a little bit is I need to see it from all the guys that they say they're going to get it from. The frames out there look good, but like, are those guys actually going to produce? Is Nwaneri going to produce? Is Jones going to produce? Is Hart going to produce the way that he did as a true freshman? Is, Willis McGahee or Jordan Ochoa or somebody else? I mean, it's fine to look great. That's good. But are you actually going to make football plays? And I think the thing that I think is that Jasir Whittington will make football plays. And so I don't really care if he's 6 foot. He's going to make plays, and that matters more than what he looks like coming off a bus. And he looks good, by the way. He's just short.
Sam, were you surprised at all that Rhule kind of emphatically and so quickly answered the question about whether or not this was his best team with a kind of resounding yes?
No. Nope. He feels that way. I think that's a real feeling from him. I think he feels like this team is probably got the best group of leadership that's the most like him, that has I think some of his confidence really does come from what he believes to be true about the offensive line. And I don't know if it was Jeep Wade or it was Dana or it was Rhule himself or whoever, but I think eventually somebody was like, you know what? You want a great run game? Go get a great line. Stop worrying. Go get a great line. I think one of the things that you're seeing, they're not shrugging off their running backs by any means, but I think what they're thinking is like, look, we'll put whoever we put out there and we'll run the ball just fine, thank you, because of the people that we got blocking for them. So let's not get caught up in, the whether we've got Bijan Robinson back there. Don't need it. Got a good offensive line. You don't need that. So I think some of it is the confidence he has in the offensive line. And I think some of it is Calandria. Calandria is just more rules kind of quarterback than Dylan. There's just no other way to. I think Raiola took a lot of maintenance. And not because he was like a troublemaker. Not like that. I don't think that was true of Dylan one day. I think it was more that he was young and he needed to grow up, and Dylan did not come to Nebraska with the experiences of being around a bunch of dudes year after year after year after year and learning how to lead a group of guys. He went from school to school to school. And so it's hard to create leadership roots. And so when Dylan got here, I think it was challenging for him to know how to do some of the things that you got to do. Now, Calandra has moved around his share too, but his personality is just different. And I think he's you've heard this many times, he's one of the guys. And I just don't know that Raiola ever felt like he was one of the guys, because he was always throwing to guys that were 3 and 4 years older than him and guys that, had come from other places. It just didn't set up the right way. And so I think there's that. And then I think he likes the staff. I think Rhule would say, this is the staff that I feel the most comfortable with. I think he really likes the defensive coordinator. I think he likes Maher and that he's, not Eckler. And so I think there's just a cohesion and a happiness there. So I think that all adds up to you feeling like you have your best team. You know who else thinks he has his best team? Again, I watch a lot of Big Ten coaches, Greg Schiano. So, and he's talked about it again and again. He's like, this is the best team. This is the deepest team we've had. We're chopping wood, all this other stuff. Well, Nebraska's got to go out there on November, whatever, the 14th. And by then, Rutgers might have 6 losses. You just never know. I would say this. This might be the best, top to bottom, the Big Ten has ever been. Top to bottom. I don't know that the team at the top is going to win the national championship. And I don't know that the team at the top is 2014 Ohio State. I don't think they are, to be honest with you. But top to bottom, if you're just going strength of the middle, strength of the lower third, this is probably the best it's ever been. And what that means is there's going to be some teams that get thunderstruck for sure, but there's also going to be upsets that we didn't expect. Right now, Wisconsin's picked to be 12th or 13th in the league, and Wisconsin's walking around like they're going to win 8 games. Iowa's going to be ranked today in the top 25 preseason poll, and I'm telling you, they could easily go 5-7. And that's not a knock on Iowa. They probably won't because they're Iowa. But they got a lot of games they could lose because they're playing teams on the road that can beat them. And so, Nebraska could go 5-7. Minnesota could go 5-7. Illinois could go 5-7. They're not all going to go 5-7, but one of them will. And that's how good the league is. So Nebraska's going to have to pack a lunch. They're going to have to be ready because starting with Michigan State, every team they're going to play is good. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of teams in this league. Mike Loxley thinks he has his best team. There's a lot of teams in the league that think they have their best team. Matt Rhule is not alone in feeling that way.
Good week last week. Good guys are working hard, getting better every.
Your schedule is filling up. Get back to busy at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2027 Kia Seltos S starting at just $269 a month. Ready for every run on the calendar. 2 great leases, 1 less thing to worry about. We've also got the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $249 a month. Don't wait. Get back to busy this August at Edwards Kia.
No, I didn't feel like our freshmen had too many nerves to, I think there was other players that, Terea, she's being asked and been talked about in the media a lot, and, Campbell, and I think players that are really, hoping to showcase their improvement, they in front of fans. I think they might have been a little more nervous than the freshmen are like, yay, we're happy to be here. Those guys are like, they have something to prove coming into their sophomore year. And again, those sophomores have improved so much, and so they want to show it and show the fans and everybody how much they've improved, and the same things we see every day in practice.
Kids who came to that game, as I've gone back and recruited them, they talk about the energy, the passion, that was in the crowd that night. I don't know if Washington would probably be a day game, night game. I don't know, but times up well with Halloween, and to do one alternate. I think the thought process here is just to do one alternate jersey uniform a year, being black, having a blackout, and then having our iconic uniforms, red and white, white and red every other game. We're going to wear black cleats. We're not going to wear white cleats. We're not going to wear red cleats. We're going to just wear the same thing every game and let the football speak for itself. But I think the blackout's really cool nationally. It's really cool in recruiting. fans all have a black Nebraska jacket when it gets close to November, so it makes for an easy sell. And I thought our fans rallied around it last year. So, like all things, some people might like it, some people don't, but certainly the recruits and the players like it. And looked like last year a lot of people liked it. So.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Simpson to the end zone, caught. Touchdown Rams. Dean Connors with his second touchdown of the game.
They go fade, back corner of the end zone. And Camden Brown has another.
Reed flushed out left. That fakes. Now he'll take off the run. Reed into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We will be joined shortly by Arif Hassan from wideleft.football. We do apologize about the technical issues. I think I know what happened. The issue was Rico ruined everything.
No, stop blaming your producers.
No,
I refuse to do that.
What he did is he just got his sticky situation all over the producer room.
Actually, that makes sense. That I can't defend.
The internet went down immediately.
Makes
and
sense.
So it was, I was like, Rico.
I am going to bring one of Miles' dirty diapers and leave it in your car when I get here in the morning. So it sits there all day in the sun.
I'm not a weirdo. I lock my car like a normal person. Sorry, bud.
Come on, man. This isn't Kearney, Nebraska.
Yeah, what are you talking
Grow
about?
up a little bit.
What are you
Fine,
talking
I'll just wipe it on the windshield.
Oh, that's actually
that's
a pretty
like
decent idea.
Actual vandalism. So thank you for telling everybody you're going to do that so I can send you to prison.
I am a little upset, obviously, with the technical issue and everything notwithstanding. But I part of this is the same question that you kind of asked that Sam was answering to about Calandria, Dylan, the comparison there, and that Rhule, this is kind of his quarterback, right? This is kind of more of his style and stuff. Is that just fair to say about the roster in general? I mean, it's an older roster. None of these things are, not obvious, right? These are guys that he's recruited. These are guys that he's brought in himself. He doesn't have really any carryover at this point. He's just got guys that are his that he brought into the building, including the coaching staff from top to bottom, right? It feels like that this is just an entire group that he's finally excited to be around. Not in terms of saying, oh, well, the guys that are in the first or second year weren't, but these are all of his guys. These are all the people that he brought in himself. And maybe it's finally that maturity group that he's been looking for too. Not just in terms of talent, but also in terms of, hey, this is all just, we're all finally at the same headspace.
Yeah. And I don't know that he'd actually ever say this, because I think that he felt good about the way he treated the players that were already here. And I think everybody would, including the players that were here, would agree with that. I think if you got some truth serum in him, he would say it would have been faster had I cleaned house. But I think he got here and liked the guys, right? And he's basically talked about this. He's like, hey, they've worked hard. They had earned the right, he thought, to continue to try and be here and be on the team and figure things out. Whereas, but there's some scar tissue there, right? Of what they had experienced in our previous coaching staffs, of unlearning some things, and not just football things, right? Like unlearning losing habits and unlearning the kind of choking in big games and things like that. Like there's a lot of that when you start fresh, it's not just about the football. It's about the mentality of how you go about your business and how you react when you're in these situations. And it probably would have been faster if he just first year cleans house and said, hey, I'm sorry. I appreciate all you guys have done for the University of Nebraska. We're starting fresh with my guys. If the Scott Frost era was as bad as we all believe it was, and I have no reason to think otherwise at this point, and may have been worse than we think it was in terms of what was actually going on in the building, then we can't underestimate the scar tissue that left on the guys that stayed. And so, to your point, I do think there is a certain amount of, this is a team that he's been able to sort of bring up in his, and I don't know how that's going to go, to be clear, right? Like it being his guys, his team, his coaches, I have no idea if that leads to the season we want or not. I think it will, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So this isn't to say, oh, because he now finally has his guys, now we're going to see it. But it is to say all of the other stuff that I do think impacted the first couple years, especially. Last year, I think it was, I've said this before. Last year, I think the issue was basically your starting quarterback hurt and you had to start a true freshman.
Yeah.
That's that's what went wrong with the season. Like, yes, there were other issues with the defensive line and the defense in general. But they were 6-2 when Dylan got hurt, and I think they were going to beat USC. So that kind of is what it is. Right. And so I still think they would have beat UCLA. All of a sudden, we're talking about an 8-win team, a 2-win improvement from the year before. Who knows what happens after that? Like, we're just having a very different conversation if Dylan doesn't break his leg. So, but the first 2 years especially, I think you can legitimately say, hey, there was some scar tissue there that hindered their development as a football team and a football program. Now that that's gone, does that mean it's going to get better? I don't know. But I do think it gives you a chance that you didn't have before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've said it before just in terms of the coaching staff as well, but I think there is something to say that everybody is rowing the boat in the same direction. And again, like it is one of those things that it's easier to talk about when he's no longer with the program and all that other stuff. But I think that there is something to say, even what Sam was saying just a few moments ago about it wasn't, legal issues. It wasn't anything like that was going on within the roster, but there definitely was a lot of, I guess talent massaging is the best phrase, or maybe you're just personality management that you were trying to handle at different times. And if that's the case, that was happening behind the scenes, and it takes you away from kind of the other nitty gritty of just getting to know your team or just, doing anything else that's football related. And you're having to worry about some of these other things that could be happening inside of your walls. That takes away from your ability just to be like, hey, we're all in this together. We're all working towards the same goal. We don't have to work on these things outside of football. We're all kind of pushing towards the same goal. And it feels like, at least in terms of what we've heard, what we've seen, that is the group, that everyone is kind of moving forward in the same direction this year. And again, it is one of those things, like you had said, you don't want to rewrite history because was it happening last year? Maybe, maybe not. But it was all the little details that people started to notice once Dylan had left, once some of those things that started to come up, and even some of the brief little comments we've talked about. I know you mentioned it. It's something that's been talked about before from Big Ten Media Days. Very first answer from Justin Evans, Anthony Calandria, a breath of fresh air. Just little things like that. If those things are taken care of and you don't have the little nuisances and the little headaches, and you can just focus on football, and it's about the guys that are inside of the Hawks facility and inside of the weight training facility and all that sort of stuff, I think you have a better chance of just saying, we don't have to worry about the outside. We're just focused on football. We don't have to worry about appearances or how it's perceived or how we look or any of that sort of stuff. It's just about what we can do in 60 minutes on Saturdays.
To answer a couple questions from the chat, Alan asked, are you saying Rhule cannot make tough decisions when it comes to winning? No, what I'm saying is I believe he thought that doing what was right by the players that were currently there was the most important thing in that situation.
And to be fair, that's contradictory to what he had done in all of his previous stops.
Yeah, he had made those tough decisions about winning, and I think he got here. And listen, he probably believed at the time that he could help them overcome those issues, right? And I think he probably underestimated the scar tissue as well. But I think it was a calculated, hey, these guys deserve a right to continue to be here, rather than starting fresh. I don't think it was I really like these guys. It's okay if we don't win. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think I think that would be absurd.
Yeah.
Then Hot Danger says kind of ignores the actual problems of season one. Sims and the tight end coach cosplaying as no C. Leftover players didn't cause those issues. What I am saying is look at the losses in year one. Outside of Colorado and Michigan was a college football playoff team and the number 2 team in the country in Nebraska played them. Colorado just beat their heads in. 13-10 to Minnesota, 20-17 to Michigan State, 13-10 to Maryland, 24-17 in overtime to Wisconsin, 13-10 to Iowa. I am saying the scar tissue of being a losing team prior to that probably flips at least 1 or 2 of those games. That's what I mean, because the roster was what it was at that point. Let's not forget, Nebraska was starting a 3rd-string quarterback in those last 2 games that I talked about where they went to overtime with Wisconsin, who was a bowl team that year. And that was Luke Fickell's best team at Wisconsin, was his first year. And a top 20 ranked Iowa team that they lost to 13-10, I believe, on a last-second field goal. So, like, that's where the scar tissue shows up, right? Like, they were in these games. And yes, if they had better talent, maybe that helps as well. But I think that's where scar tissue shows up, is in those games where it's like, hey, we're right there, and then it slips out. I mean, do we not remember how Minnesota ended right off the bat? That's a scar tissue game.
Yeah.
Like, clear as day to me that's like, hey, late touchdown, an incredible catch. I can't remember his name, number 9 in the end zone for Minnesota to win the game. Like, it's like incredible catch by Minnesota. Like, great play. They made a play to win the game. Like, that to me is the difference. Like, yes, there were definite issues on that team. Nobody's denying that. But I also think that when you're playing that many close games and they all go against you, there's something else going on there. When, like, Maryland that year was pretty comparable talent-wise. Michigan State that year was, I believe, pretty comparable talent-wise. I would say the same thing about Wisconsin and Minnesota. We're pretty comparable talent-wise, even with the issues we're talking about with offensive coordinator and quarterback and wherever else on the team.
Yeah.
There is still stuff there. Was like one or two, though, if you've got winning DNA as opposed to losing DNA, which I think that carried over from the Frost era, a couple of those games flip. That's my point. And so I think when you talk about it being finally a Rhule team, this is what we're talking about, is you don't have that leftover baggage from before. Now, again, does that lead to the season that we want? I have no idea.
Right.
But I don't think that's a factor anymore.
And also, I'll add to that too. It feels like even publicly now, Dana Holgerson's obviously a very interesting character and probably a little bit beside of what you would hear from most of the Rhule assistants comparative to the entirety of the staff. Hogo's going to do whatever he kind of wants to do.
Yeah.
He's just kind of the old guard, the old sheriff in the room, that sort of thing too. But his ability to be very critical in public settings of some of the higher profile players that are on the team was not something that we heard or saw even from Holgerson last year. And I think, namely, one name that I think has gotten a little bit of flack from Holgerson specifically has been Ja'Cory Barney through the start of this fall camp. And we think the world of Ja'Cory Barney. I know I personally do. I hold him in like one of the highest esteems, but it seems like we're almost trending closer to Ja'Cory being a return specialist more than he is an offensive threat. He's going to closer a DeMornay Pearsonell role than anything else, from at least from the verbiage that's being shared around from what we hear from public media appearances. And I think that's a good thing, though, because, again, it's not like Ja'Cory Barney has not been made available for media appearances. He was one of the first guys to go out in the first media scrums, and he has been very, very accepting of any type of role that helps the team win. And Rico, you can hit the old DB phrase alert if you would like to. I don't know what button or sound we should use for that. But but I think that it is one of those things that when you have an entire team of guys that are willing to accept new roles and guys that want to root for each other and root for the success of the team rather than their own, and they're looking towards the rest of the room, and Ja'Cory Barney says, oh, you know, maybe if I am the third or fourth receiver, our team has a better chance of winning that way if I primarily focus on special teams and I'm a high quality returner, and then I can make big impact plays offensively when called upon. I don't need to be the reliable guy through 120 snaps through the first 3 games or whatever the case is. You can win a lot of games that way with that sort of mentality. Does it lead to wins on the field? We'll find out. But I think just getting that mentality instilled in your entire team, and if it's from player 1 to player 110,
it gives you a chance.
It gives you a great chance.
I think the other thing that we need to, I think we need to remember when we hear either criticism or praise in these press conferences about certain players is I think we have to remember the context of who that player is or who they've been within the program up to that point. Like a Ja'Cory Barney criticism, he might still be working harder than 90% of the team, but they expect more out of Ja'Cory Barney because of what his status on the team is, what he's brought to the table before, and what they know he's capable of, right? Keelan Smith was a really good example of this when Dana talked about him. Dana and Da'Keel Schwartz talked about him. I believe it was Friday when they were available. And they talked about, hey, like Keelan kind of seemed like he was coming along, and then they're like, yeah, he had a really bad summer. He was not doing, or the tight ends. Yes. Like, hey, they had a really bad summer. He's like, I don't worry about Luke Lindemeyer, but some of those other guys have to step up, and I think they have. And he's like, and then we got Bonner back in the room, and now people have their stuff in a row, right? Like there's certain things, because I think they think highly of the tight end room, they expect more of them. Because I think they think highly of Keelan Smith's talent, that you have to. And he even said, like, I hope that me saying something nice about him now doesn't hurt his work ethic and things like that. And so I think we very well could be having this conversation about Ja'Cory Barney, who still could be could be anywhere from like a 1 to 3 receiver in my mind for this in terms of targets in this offense. I'd be surprised if it was any lower than 3.
I would agree. Yeah.
If Isaiah Hunter, Quasi Gilmore, or Ja'Cory Barney led the team in targets, none of that would surprise me, right? So I mean, I don't think Quinn Clark will lead the team in targets, but I think he'll be a big factor.
Yeah.
And so you sit here and you go, okay, when you have the variance of being a number 1 or a number 3, sometimes you get criticized in order to try and spur you to become that number 1 instead of the number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I take the Barney stuff with a grain of salt. I don't think he'll be a return specialist. I think he will be one of the 3 starting wide receivers, but I do think there is a part of Dana Holgorsen that's like, hey, let's go get this. Let's go figure it out and be the version of yourself that I think you're capable of, because I do think Dana's one of those guys that holds better players to higher standards because he knows what they're capable of.
I'm trying to find the right way to phrase this question, but because we are so technically we are in the same position as most of the people who are listening on podcasts, if they're listening on stream, whatever, that sort of stuff,
For
right?
the podcast listeners.
That they're taking in and absorbing the same information that we are, generally speaking, right? That they hear public commentary, they hear media press conference, they hear insider sources, whether it's coming from media availability, they read it online, they take it from Big Ten Network, like all that sort of stuff, right? When a coordinator or assistant coach, because a lot of this argument that I'm giving you is based off of what we hear, right, from press conferences, that sort of thing. How adjusted is that conversation? Let's use Dan Holgorsen for an example. How adjusted is that conversation when Holgorsen's meeting with the press and he's answering questions that he doesn't know what he's going to be asked about, right? Like, he doesn't know that Quinn Clark could come up. He doesn't know if Jakari Borney is going to be brought up. He doesn't know if the offensive line, like whatever question could be brought to him. How much weight do we need to put on that, the public commentary, comparative to what is actually probably being said in the room, and literally no way that we would ever be able to find out, right?
I get the sense about Dana Holgorsen and honestly about everybody on the coaching staff, really, that basically nothing gets said publicly that hasn't already been said privately. That's the sense that I get. I also think Dana Holgorsen is a little less loosey-goosey than he lets us believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's just his demeanor.
I think he's a little bit more measured and says the things he means to say. But
he comes across as the guy at the bar that's telling too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I believe that's the case. I think he's a little bit more crazy like a fox, where he's saying the things he means to say, but he just says it in a way that seems very casual, right? And I think, I know Rhule has made some comments like, oh, Dan just kind of says whatever pops to his mind. I bet you there's not a single thing he's told us that he hasn't told his team first.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing about Rhule. I'd say the same thing about Orich. I think those guys are good at communicating to their players. I think Keelan Smith knows that he didn't have a very good summer. I think those tight ends know that they didn't have a very good summer. I think Jakari Barney knows he could be the best wide receiver on this team if he's locked in, right? Like, I think all those things are true, and I think they've told them well before they've told us. We also have to remember they talk to them dramatically more than they talk to us, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say about Dana is I don't know that he cares how we perceive the information. I don't think he's usually talking to us. I think
that's especially true with Matt too, with Rhule.
Yes, I would agree. I think for a large portion of, because let's just be honest, right? If I pull you aside and say, hey, Austin, not a very good show, man. Like, we need to kind of figure this out. Like, let's work on this,
That's
right?
fair. You're like, hey, bat segment, a little too long.
Yeah, I was like,
why'd you keep going back in the house?
You went in the house so many times. Why did you keep going back in the house? Or if I'm like, Austin, what the hell are you talking about, man? Like, that goes over very differently.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, if I do it publicly on the stream while we're having a show, that goes over differently than I wait until 10:08 a.m. whenever Shane plays the music because he's done working for the day and goes. Sorry, 10:02 a.m.
Yeah, or like 10:15.
It is. Listen,
literally
it
never.
It has not gotten to 10:15.
I don't even know.
You play that music hard out at 10:07.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta go. I gotta vape. Get me out of here.
Getting the vape shakes.
Getting the shakes. I need my hula berry.
Still waiting on our guest, by the way.
Thank you, Shane.
Hopefully we can track him down.
We're open at 9 as well. So if you want to try and get him for 9, that'd be great.
That's
if you
so
want to. But no, like, that's a very different dynamic in how you receive that information.
Yes. Yeah.
Versus if I say it on air and like, hey man, what the hell was that? What are we doing? Like, we get it.
That's fair.
Do you have rabies? Okay.
All right.
Then we're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a very, I think they use that as, like, when you get called out publicly, I feel like, like, oh, I got to get my stuff together.
But it also hits differently too,
Yes.
because then you're allowing other people to form a perception of something that they do not have insight nor knowledge of, right? Because again, another great example too, this has happened numerous times, right? If Matt Rhule comes to a Monday morning press conference or whatever, and he does a Scott Frost where he's like, oh, last week was the best week of practice we've ever had. I don't understand what happened on Saturday. People would be like, oh, well, if you had such a great week of practice, like what could possibly went bad?
It's possible he just didn't know what a good week of practice was.
That's also possible. But then also the same thing too, where I like going back to that first year because it felt like there was a really, not necessarily a roller coaster, but there were definitely some hills that they rode through, especially in those press conferences, because there was a lot of high praise and there were a lot of times when it felt like Rhule was just at a disbelief of what was kind of occurring in front. And that Illinois game was such a strong component of that, if you remember, because if you remember him coming out after the Illinois game, he had said, that Sunday I think they had lost the week before, right? And that
was the Michigan game.
Yeah,
they got their head kicked in by Michigan.
They came in on Sunday and they practiced in full.
And they went at Illinois that Friday, short week, much like we were talking about with Washington into the Illinois short week this week. And they beat Illinois pretty soundly.
Yeah. And so then they were able to come out, get that goal line stand, all that sort of stuff. And then after that Illinois game is when he came out and he was like, this is actually what we did. This is how it looked. This is what happened.
And they won 3 games in a row.
But imagine if he had come into that Monday practice or that Monday press conference and had said then that Sunday or the day after, he's like, we actually had a great practice the day after. We just got waxed poetic by Michigan. We just got our head beat in completely. It would be a completely different perception. People would be at disbelief, saying you can't lose 45-7 on a Saturday and then feel so great about what you did on a Sunday when there weren't any cameras or anyone to watch or evaluate what you did. I think that he and the coaching staff and the conversation that we're having have done such an excellent job now of just being able to kind of tell you without telling you. But I still feel like there's just so much conversation that's happening outside, or I should say inside of the walls, that nobody really has an insight to, that it makes me curious about how those comments then get perceived back in. But I do have to agree with you with what you're saying, is that every single time anything comes out publicly, especially in this course, and we're in year 4 of Rhule, how the coaching staff is working together, it's all kind of his guys, how everyone is gelling together or having their conversations, whether it's public or private or whatever. I think there is nothing that is left unsaid. There are no secrets in Nebraska football anymore, at least internally, right? I don't think that there are people being pulled aside and being like, okay, well, hey, just so you know, the way that you said this at this press conference or the way that this person was asked you is actually how you have to handle it. I don't think that there's a lot of like baby massaging going on right now. I don't think that they have to, treat everybody with kid gloves. I think everybody's an adult in the room from top to bottom. And even on the younger side of some of the newer faces that we know, they're still older players, so we're not seeing a bunch of true freshmen going up there or guys that we haven't heard from before. I find that very, very interesting.
Great example of this is the offensive line.
Yes.
I believe they have the Big Ten special with their training camp. I believe they said they have the 5th most returning snaps, or the 5th most experienced snaps in college football, but they have 3 new starters.
So over 8,000 snaps. Yeah,
it's 8,300 snaps. But you've got Paul Mubanga, Brendan Black, Tree Babalade, in all likelihood being 3 new starters, but you still have the 5th most experience in terms of snaps in all of college football, right? So that's what you're talking about. Even the new guys are not young guys. They're not new in terms of experience. They're just new in terms of Nebraska. And I think Nebraska has done a better job of identifying, and I don't know that they've done a poor job of this at any point in the portal. I think Nebraska's done a pretty good job of identifying, hey, these are the types of guys that we want. These are the types of mentalities that we want. I think that's why Anthony Calandria is here. I think they would have been happy with Minchie. I think they're probably happier once they met Calandria and go, oh, that's the kind of guy that we needed here, right? So, and again, a guy with a ton of experience, right? You don't have TJ Lateef coming in with 3 or 4 game starting experience. Like, that's a very different thing, even though Calandria is new to the program and TJ Lateef isn't. You would think on the surface, before you dig into it, oh, returner to the program, maybe he's been in the offense, he's familiar with this, whatever. But those college football snap experience is really, really important. Yeah. Especially when you're going to play a schedule like Nebraska, where you're going to have, I think, a lot of coin toss games, and you're going to have some games against teams that are just better than you. I would say there's 3 games where the team is just more talented than you, right? Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, where the team is just better than you. Everything else, I think Nebraska is at least in the neighborhood talent-wise or better than.
I would agree.
And so
if you do the roster evaluation, that sort of thing. Yes,
roster evaluation, right? And so you sit there and you go, okay,
our 22 versus your 22.
I'll even go like a 2 deep, like 44, right?
Yep.
Give me a 2 deep. We'll see what's what. And so you go through that and you go, okay, so because of the way they've constructed the roster, and this is where I think having the Rhule guys or the guys that are sort of experienced at other places and not from the scar tissue of previous Nebraska seasons is really important, because they can come in and be like, hey, we've done this before. This is what it was like. I'm Anthony Calandria. I won a lot at UNLV. I already went through my scar tissue, and I've grown from that at Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got, Elijah Pritchett is a great example. They couldn't run him out of Tuscaloosa fast enough. They were over that guy.
Mm-hmm.
We almost wanted to run him out of town last year, midway through the season. And then last half of the season, he started playing really, really well, figured things out. Everything seemed to click. And now he's the guy that we're counting on and feel like we can count on. There is the difference between growing pains and being able to overcome it, and growing pains and being hampered by it.
Yeah.
I think, going back to the original conversation, that first Nebraska team for Rhule never got to the point of we can overcome these growing pains, because they just kept happening. And the biggest difference now is the team is full of guys who either are in the process of or have already gotten to the other side of that. And I would think that leads to more wins. Now, obviously, we won't know till we see it.
Well, so
but I would think
that's the part, though, is that if you are of the belief that the margins are small, right, for Nebraska football, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Like eventually, I know you're going to put my feet to the fire. You're going to ask me what I think a season prediction will be. There's a part of me that still, even to this right now, sitting at this desk and everything, that there's a part of me that I still just don't trust, because I haven't seen it.
I get
that
it.
They win coin flip games that they are equally or more talented, all that sort of stuff, right?
That's why I keep saying I don't know if it actually is going to lead to what we hope.
But see, then this entire conversation about maturity and your roster all being aligned and all that other stuff, if the margins are that small, this gives you an advantage.
It should matter.
That's why it matters. Because again, if all of those little details are the things that are holding you back from previous stops, from previous one-score losses, from previous frustrations, and if the margins aren't as significant as the last 3 losses of the season, when you lose a starting quarterback, when a lot of your team departs, when you have to fire a defensive coordinator before your bowl game, all that sort of stuff, right? All of that mixture of a pot that turned into a complete soup sandwich by the end of the season. If your margins are small enough that you believe that you are in this different tier of your conference and you're losing games by the thinnest of margins, that maturity is going to make a big difference for you. And if you have healed the scar tissue, like you've mentioned a couple of times, this is your turning point. This is your chance to turn that corner and prove that it is.
Here's the other thing that that Sam talked about that I don't know that we've considered enough in the margin for Nebraska and having the kind of cohesiveness to overcome some of these things. He didn't call him this exactly. He said that Dylan Raiola required maintenance. I take that as him being high maintenance, right? We've heard some stories about family involvement, and kind of what was allowed and required and things like that.
I mean, you could even see it publicly. I mean, he was the first person out of the tunnel every time.
Even when you have a very famous boxer who should probably be the first guy out of the tunnel. But the point is, I think there is a big difference when you hear Justin Evans talk about Anthony Calandria being a breath of fresh air and things like that, which he's not the only person to say that. When they came home from Big Ten Media Days, someone else said something very similar. It might have been Holgerson. But I think there is a very big difference when the person everyone perceives as being your best player is high maintenance versus being a team first guy. I think there's a very big difference in how that impacts your team. Because if you are seen to be, and listen, I think Nebraska as a university was put in a really difficult position with Dylan, because he is a 5-star quarterback, which is something Nebraska before Trey Taylor did not get very often, right? He is a legacy. And he was a guy that chose to come to Nebraska. If he just chooses not to come to Nebraska, I think it's forgivable. Like when he committed to Georgia, it's like, all right, we get it.
Yeah.
Number 1, number 2 quarterback in the country. He's going to a team that has won national championships. Like, I get it, right? When he was committed to Ohio State, we understood it. We were disappointed, but we understood it. But once he chose Nebraska, even if Nebraska had gotten to the point where like, hey, bud, like some of this stuff isn't going to work in terms of how things are being handled. I think they were put in a really difficult spot to say, hey, we need to keep this guy here because we may have a mutiny on our hands if we don't. But also, this is probably not the best thing in terms of the football program and having a high maintenance guy in that high profile of a position.
I mean, there was a presumption that it was what can Nebraska do for Dylan Raiola when he arrived.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as simple as it was, right? It was Dylan brings this package of the athleticism, the everything, the quarterback, the arm talent, the 5-star pedigree, the bigger name recruits, the higher profile, all that sort of stuff. What can Nebraska do for Dylan Raiola? Where in any other recruitment sense and anywhere else he was going to go is what can Dylan bring to elevate a program like Georgia, to bring that further. And instead it was the opposite, which is it's a hard way to balance. And whether it was Dylan's fault, the university's fault, the universe's fault, like any of that, right?
Yeah, I think it's a confluence of events.
The situation as it was, I think where they are now, I think everyone can this is the one thing of the entirety of it all. I think everyone is in a better situation now than where they were at November 1st after the broken leg, right? I think everybody can agree that had we're speaking in a different world. Had he not broken the leg, who knows what happens, right? Because if you go
maybe he comes back still,
maybe he comes back, all that other stuff. But after that happened, everything that transgressed after that, I think everyone is happy with where they are, and I think both parties can be satisfied to say, listen, I think we're both where we need to be.
I do think moving on was the best thing for both parties. Yeah, I really do, and that's not revisionist history. Like I do think it was the best thing for both parties. Kenny, I think, had a really good point here. He says, Dylan was the bad tasting cough syrup you need to take, but you would probably just tough out the cold next time. I actually think that's true. It was by far the best option for Nebraska at quarterback. Although I would have been interested to see Kyle McCord in a Dana Holgorsen offense. I'm not going to lie to you.
Before you.
He
might have thrown for 7,000 yards.
I think Kyle McCord's a pretty good quarterback at college. Like I didn't understand the hate at Ohio State. He had a really good year at Syracuse. Whatever. But I do think there's a really good point there. Like you take the medicine, it tastes terrible, it suppresses your cough.
Yeah.
But next time you're like, maybe I could just tough this thing out.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to sweat out a fever.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And so there's sometimes, you take the Tylenol, it prolongs the fever instead of just sweating it out, letting it break and get into the next thing. I do think that's a fairly good point there by Kenny. Lots of comments. Something about Yoda in the chat. I don't know. We're gonna have to catch up.
Yeah. Wow. Geez, people are going off.
Lots of stuff going on there. That's awesome. I'm Robbie. We're gonna take a quick break here. We'll see if Arif Hassan is gonna join us today or not. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. If nothing else, we'll talk Rutgers at 9:30.
We will talk Rutgers at 9:30.
That's what people are clamoring for.
Listen, they're like, we need more Rutgers.
What's going on in Piscataway?
What's going on with the Scarlet Knights? This is what we need to know.
Big Ten's finest.
That's awesome. I'm Robbie. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live after this.
Your schedule is filling up. Get back to busy at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2027 Kia Seltos S starting at just $269 a month. Ready for every run on the calendar. 2 great leases, 1 less thing to worry about. We've also got the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $249 a month. Don't wait. Get back to busy this August at Edwards Kia.
No, I didn't feel like our freshmen had too many nerves to, I think there was other players that, Terea, she's being asked and been talked about in the media a lot, and, Campbell, and I think players that are really hoping to showcase their improvement, they in front of fans. I think they might have been a little more nervous than the freshmen are, like, yay, we're happy to be here. Those guys are like, they have something to prove coming into their sophomore year. And again, those sophomores have improved so much, and so they want to show it and show the fans and everybody how much they've improved, and the same things we see every day in practice.
Kids who came to that game, as I've gone back and recruited them, they talk about the energy, the passion, that was in the crowd that night. I don't know if Washington probably be a day game, night game. I don't know, but times that well with Halloween, and to do one alternate. I think the thought process here is just to do one alternate jersey uniform a year, being black, having a blackout, and then having our iconic uniforms, red and white, white and red every other game. We're going to wear black cleats. We're not going to wear white cleats. We're not going to wear red cleats. We're going to just wear the same thing every game and let the football speak for itself. But I think the blackout is really cool nationally. It's really cool in recruiting. The fans all have a black Nebraska jacket when it gets close to November, so it makes for an easy sell. And I thought our fans rallied around it last year. So, like all things, some people might like it, some people don't, but certainly the recruits and the players like it. And looked like last year a lot of people liked it. So.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, certainly the defense, see how they're tackling. It's really at all positions. This is the first time they've had a chance to strike and knock people to the ground. And then ball carriers, I think who can make people miss when it's not thud, who can run through contact and turn 3rd and 6 into 3rd and 4 just by dominant contact in the running game. The quarterback's not live, so it's a little different for them. The offensive line, it's always the same thing every day. So I think really it's just whoever's catching the football, whether it's a receiver, tight end, or obviously the running backs, and then obviously our tackling on defense.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We're presented by Next Gen Male Medical. Remember, call our friends, 402-614-9700. Next Gen Male Medical, whatever you need, whether it's a little hormone therapy, a little peptide therapy, maybe you just need some vitamins. Maybe you're like some people in this building, or maybe used to be in this building that don't eat a lot of vegetables.
That's true. Yeah.
Rico, not a vegetable guy, famously, needs to get into
a lot of beige.
A lot of beige on that plate. Mm-hmm. Maybe he needs to get in. Maybe get a little vitamin shot to make sure he's well balanced and not getting himself into sticky situations all the time. They can help you out no matter what it is you need. 402-614-9700. It's Next Gen Male Medical. What are you shaking your head about over there, Rico? What's your problem? Oh, now you give us a silent treatment, Rico.
I don't have a problem. I'm just here. I just work here.
Okay, Rico. Oh, sad Rico.
I just work here.
Oh no, we got sad Rico, Austin. Oh, sad
Poor
Rico.
Guy.
Yeah.
Sorry you got to spend your Sunday with Husker volleyball, your favorite place in the world.
Then
it sounds like you spent quality time with your kids afterwards. So really, what are you complaining about?
Do we need to call the ambulance for sad Rico?
I never said I was sad. I just work here.
Oh, you're sad that you work here? Why?
He's given the tone of voice.
Rico.
I just work here.
Rico, you can always go back if you need to.
You just work here.
Don't do that. Don't you, Ricky Bobby?
Don't you put that evil on me, Austin Jacobsen.
I hope that you find bats in your tree, but that they don't bother you.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, apparently bats are a good thing. I see all the ticks and everything that they eat. That's great. I like that.
They are very good, but if you get bit, you gotta go.
Okay.
Like you gotta go to the hospital like ASAP.
Now I know. So I am a little worried now that you've brought up all of this stuff that obviously I have my dog that needs to go outside. So I hope they just don't take it out on Ava.
Well, that should be, but your dog should have like rabies vaccines
does,
already, so you should be okay there.
Yeah, but I don't want her to get just like
I don't think they're
mosh
like
pitted by bats.
I don't think they're like terrorize her.
The bats are not going to attack your dog.
Keep
the
an eye
bats
on
are going to stay away from your dog. As
well,
long as
also
Ava
in the day, so yeah,
and they're going to attack you.
I'm worried. I'm worried about the bats.
So you don't have to worry about bats. You do have to worry about crows because crows remember.
Yes, crows remember. Gosh, what are the others? There are some birds
Elephants,
that will like
elephants remember.
Okay, I was talking about birds.
Okay, why do you?
No, there's some birds that will like nosedive you. Have you ever used?
Yeah,
you know which ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, dive bomb you.
Yeah,
they're either cardinals or blues. One of them is like super protective.
Okay.
I
think
pretty mean, but I think it's Blue Jays.
I think we have a nest of Blue Jays, and they will nosedive Ava every once in a while. It's very funny because she just stands there. She's just like laughing and smiling, and they're just.
She's like, you're not going to do anything.
Amazing Daniel says bats aren't aggressive. The only way you have to worry is if there's an injured one or something on the ground, and Ava gets and messes with
Good
it.
to know. Yeah. Well, she's not going to mess with them. She just likes to chill. She's just hanging out.
Hey, what's going on over there?
She was on the farm doing some chores over the weekend. She was really busy.
Big farm dog, huh?
Yeah, she got to ride in the side-by-side.
Nice.
She was out mowing the lawn on Saturday. She stayed busy. She chased a turkey. Good time.
Are you going to Ozzy Osbourne one of those bats?
I'm not going
No,
to Ozzy
what are you
Osbourne
talking
with that.
about, man?
Did you not hear my original story?
Super weird. What are you
doing his thing?
Why
did he do that? Just because?
He thought it was a fake one. He was supposed to do it to a fake bat. Turns out that one was real. He did not know.
Why did they have a real bat at all then?
I think it just like flew on the stage or something. I don't know. I think it was just a happenstance of just bad.
He just like OBJ'd caught it and then just
it was like on the ground. He like picked it up.
Wow. There are like two lore things that
I have
you
to
learn
imagine drugs were involved. I'm just going to be honest.
Ozzy Osbourne was on drugs. I'm shocked.
I'm saying like he may not have been in his right mind to be like, this feels like a fake bat.
It is crazy that he kind of became like this very open, like commercial figure. After
He was
all
like
of that.
became like a docile like grandpa figure. Like it's very strange.
I remember being like in elementary school and you could yell Sharon at people and they're like, "Oh, what a great joke!"
Wasn't his nickname the Prince of Darkness?
Yes.
And then he just became this like doddering old man where it's like, oh, grandpa.
The Prince of Darkness voices a troll in Trolls 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he has a song with Post Malone.
I'm just saying he went from being, I think probably one of the, I don't know if scary is the right word, but like.
Why'd you say white?
Well, one of the scarier.
Are you saying only white people can be scary?
No, I would never.
What do you mean?
I'm going to keep moving on. I think he went from being one of these scarier pop culture figures. Like he was someone your parents were worried about you listening to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I hated every time I heard Crazy Train, that's for sure.
Literally just sort of this doddering old man who's like, hello, Sharon. You know, like it's very strange development for him.
Yeah, he was on cell phone commercials. You do a lot of weird stuff. He was just odd. He's an odd guy.
Evan says nobody brand changed like Ice Cube, though. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Like
yeah,
straight up
he did
gangster
Daddy
rapper.
Daycare. Yeah.
To Are We There Yet?
I remember watching the
What about Snoop? Can we bring up Snoop too?
Yeah, Snoop's a good one too.
Like he's just chilling with Martha Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole
Martha.
First off, Martha Stewart's the gangster in that one.
100%. 100%.
Funny thing is, between the two of them, to prison.
That's right.
Yeah, that is true. People forget. Now, Snoop Dogg's also interesting in that same sense too, because in my generation, I grew up knowing like the commercialized Snoop Dogg, and when you go backwards, you're like, oh my god.
No, he was like a gangster rapper.
Yes,
like he was from like the East Coast, West Coast, the whole thing. Like he was like gangster rap. Like that was Snoop and Ice Cube, and
he
like
was a legit.
Yeah, like he was like an actual gangster.
I also only knew Ice-T from NCIS or no Law and Order. Law and Order, right?
That's Ice-T.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Ice Cube again. I can't read and listen at the same time. That's
sorry,
not bad.
I know.
Kelly
never
James,
listen.
Kelly James just talked about Ice Cube. Listen, they might be sellouts, but like sometimes selling out's all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you'd never be mad at someone else making money, right?
If you grew up like in an actual gang and you had an opportunity to like broadcast the Olympics,
Yes.
like, yeah, you'd probably take that. You know,
Although I don't know, I just watched the latest Kevin Hart movie, and I'm out. I'm out on that guy. I've been out on that guy. I can't. Who keeps giving Kevin Hart jobs? Why do we keep doing that? I haven't laughed at a Kevin Hart movie in years. I don't even know what his best movie has been, other than maybe Jumanji. I did
just Jumanji. It's just Jumanji. Nothing else.
The first Jumanji was pretty good. I don't know that I loved the second one.
The second one was okay. The first one was very fun.
I don't know who's going to watch the third one.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems odd.
Don't know who that's for. You know which movie is actually pretty funny from Kevin Hart?
Twisters. He's not in that movie.
I was
like, I'm gonna say Twisters no matter what.
Were you just doing a ghost dad thing there with me?
No.
Never mind. That's a deep cut.
Twisters is terrible.
Oh, Shane, come on. Why?
It is.
Great argument.
Good talk. How do you feel about Fernando Mendoza?
He's not terrible. Twister, okay, if you like just country music all the way through, like the entire movie, Twisters is your movie.
I mean, yeah, it kind of sounds like a movie for me. Thank you.
I mean, it takes place in Oklahoma, so
ain't no place in Oklahoma.
Just the entire soundtrack from start to finish, nothing but country music.
And the soundtrack goes hard as hell.
This is the Glenn Powell one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
thought you were disparaging the OG Twister.
No, I like the
that
OG
movie.
Twister too. It's
It's
great.
a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, it's great.
I forgot what I was talking about. I'm glad we took that.
What Kevin Hart movie did you like, Ravi?
Oh, thank you, Brandon. Look at him producing over
lead
there.
producer.
Twister is the Mandalorian of movies.
Jesus Christ.
I prefer Mandalorian. I wouldn't call him JC, but go ahead.
JC.
Are you good?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like the Lord and Savior. What does that mean?
I call him the Mandalorian. You said Jesus Christ, so
What? Oh, we're talking about Fernando Mendoza again? Is that what you're saying?
yes. Why wouldn't we be talking about him?
Oh.
You guys asked me about him.
Is there any way
But
I
how
could?
many topics did we pass to get back to there?
You know how he's always on delay.
Yes. This is like once you pass the exit, you're on to further down the interstate. We're like 15 miles from our destination, and Shane goes, I have to go to the bathroom. What was that?
I would do that to you.
Oh, you'd poop your pants? Oh, shocking. He's going to turn my mic off.
No.
Would you like to get to our guest, Gary Java here? Kevin Hart, one movie that
should I be like,
oh my
Rico?
God, how do you keep doing
Shane,
that?
let Ravi answer the question for crying out loud. We're not talking about Fernando Mendoza, and we never will.
What the fuck did I do? Should I be like Rico and say that?
What's going on? What's happening? It's wild.
I just don't even understand what's happening right now.
Well, if you listened,
I
get
am
the gum out of
listening.
your ears.
Unfortunately, you just won't stop talking.
All right, everybody.
Relax.
All right.
We need a double subject change.
All right. Kevin Hart.
Palate cleanse. The Wedding Ringer, actually pretty funny. Have you seen that one?
Okay, good.
He
I was really afraid
gets
that-
hired to be somebody's best man. It's like his entire business.
I think yes, that's right.
Gad.
Yeah, with Josh Gad.
With Josh Gad,
that
yeah.
movie's pretty funny.
Yeah, the Josh Gad parts of the funnier parts.
Kaylee
about it.
Cuoco from Big Bang Theory.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny movie. I enjoy it.
I like that one. That's not bad.
Glad we finally got that out.
we kept circling, tried to turn down the radio so we make the right turn, all that sort of stuff.
Good Lord, this is like a pre-GPS era. Just I don't even know what happened.
Shane's legendary performance in that. That was incredible.
Somebody hit the button.
Okay, so here's Kevin Hart's top movies according to Letterboxd. These are in terms of Letterboxd popularity. Jumanji, 40-Year-Old Virgin. That had to be one of his first movies, right?
Oh yeah, that's young Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in that.
Again, for his role.
He's funny in it, but
he
it's a
is
very
funny.
small.
Yes.
It's not like I don't think of that as a Kevin Hart movie,
Right.
You know what
Yes,
I mean?
yeah.
He's just in that movie.
He was in This Is the End, which that's just a huge conglomeration of people. He was in The Grinch. I don't remember that. Secret Life of
He was
Pets.
probably a voice.
Yes.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. Oh.
I mean, yeah, it was an animated
Well,
movie. So,
I mean, Jim Carrey was in.
Well, no, this is the animated Grinch.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
probably a voice.
Scary Movie 3. He was in the Fast and Furious.
No.
He was in Hobbs and Shaw. Who watched Hobbs and Shaw? Are you proud of that? Are you proud of
No,
watching?
that's why I put my head down.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that.
Listen, it was not good.
Gosh, there's not really anything in
He's-
here.
It's yeah. The movies
He
have
was
been
in
pretty.
Night School.
What about the
who's
one
watching that?
What's Get Hard? Is that one?
That Get Hard's fine. I like Get Hard.
It's fine. It's him and Will
it's
Ferrell.
fine. Yeah, Will Ferrell's another guy. We got to. I like Will Ferrell. Old school Will Ferrell, not the movie, but like actually like old Will Ferrell. Those are good movies. We got to be careful about that though. What are you laughing at now?
Amazing Daniel says, my wife asked me why Kevin Hart was wearing a Dodgers uniform. I looked up and it was Teoscar Hernandez.
Wow.
Hold on.
No.
Rico, can you find a picture of Teoscar Hernandez and put it up on the screen here?
Holy cow.
This might be like a Ravi level problematic.
EJ Barthel.
Like I don't know who that
I
person
don't know
is.
who that is.
That guy does not look like Kevin Hart.
How come I look up Teoscar Hernandez and Paul Skeens shows up? What?
I don't know, but that guy does not look like Kevin Hart.
Do you also see the photos of people making fun of Paul Skeens for being fat? That
No.
was mean. That was mean. He's on vacation.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's on vacation. He's just taking a break.
I don't really listen. I famously don't like Pablo Sandoval because he was a little big for me. Rafael Devers. I didn't want to pay the out of shape ball player. I also, that guy does not look
That
like
doesn't
Kevin
look
Hart.
like Kevin Hart
That
at all.
doesn't look like Kevin Hart even a little bit.
That's tough.
That's a tough look for
Ugh.
Mrs. Amazing Daniel.
Sorry to hear that, Amazing.
Yeah, that's not great.
I'm even trying to just like.
I can't even there's no version of that looks like Kevin Hart.
That's really tough.
That's tough.
That's very tough.
That's
You got to start having a conversation after that one. Hey,
it's especially bad. See, my argument with the football players is they're always wearing helmets, so I can't always.
Good argument.
I don't like study the roster
Right.
with the pictures on it, so I just it's like, hey, I know the number, I know the name.
Yeah.
Once the helmet's off, it's like I don't know, that's a guy.
Those are people.
Carol, a guy. But
I haven't seen Carol today. I hope
he's probably doing okay. Yeah, he's probably doing all right.
Oh, Evan, you're absolutely correct. The upside is pretty good. I actually really do like the upside.
Is that the one with?
That's the one where his wife dies and he has to take care of the kid the entire time.
Oh, no.
The upside. Sorry, is the upside the one where it's Bryan Cranston? Is
I
that the other one?
thought that was.
I think the other one's like Parenthood. It's
Walter
like,
White.
Yeah, both of those are good. I do like both of those.
Both of those are probably his. Those are when he goes into like dramatic-ish roles. He does that pretty well.
Yeah, but sometimes people just want to see Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart.
And I don't. I don't care for that anymore. Not for it.
You want to see him be a real actor?
I just
a serious actor.
I just don't want to see him. I need a break. I need some time away from Kevin. Some time away.
Amazing Daniel says, I think it was the eye's facial expression at a quick glance.
Gotta be careful about that.
You mean you don't want another Rock and Kevin Hart buddy movie?
No.
Do they still like each other? Are we positive that they're still friends?
Oh, do we have frenemies? Do they have beef?
I think they have beef now. Maybe they have so publicly chastised each other as friends that they are now beefing.
Yeah, that they're like, it doesn't feel like a joke anymore.
Yeah, I might be making this up. This might be just like a one-off tweet that I saw. I might be
like me and Shane, where it's like you can't tell if we're joking anymore. Or
no, you guys are just joshing. You guys hug after every show. It's great. It's a great little moment.
Google says they're still friends.
Oh, hold on, Shane, can I just check in on you? Can I get a pulse check really quick on you?
Can we do that at about 10:15?
No, that's okay. I want to check with you right now. This is a serious question. I'm going to let's bring the lights down. Let's get serious. This has been an interesting past week for you, right? Because have you done any sports talk shows without DB?
Oh, you think darkness is
All right.
Now he doesn't want to talk.
Sorry, Shane.
Yeah, back in the day, he did. Weren't you the original Chick and Nick producer? Shane?
Yeah, at one time, yes.
Yeah, so he's done some stuff without DB.
Shane, I was a little aggressive to you, and I'm very sorry. That's
It's been
my
15,
fault. That's
been
on
15
me.
years, but it's all right.
That's okay.
You know.
Okay, sorry. Just wanted to check in on Shane. He
Been
just
a hot
wanted to play
minute.
Bane drops. That's fine.
No, that's cool.
Sure.
Using darkness as your ally.
They did great voiceover for that.
I'm still in on it. I'm
So,
excited.
I have a question though. Maybe you know.
Mhm.
So if the team doesn't know that the alternate uniforms are there, who was the model in the uniform?
I think he was saying he didn't know about the video. They didn't know about the video.
Okay. So do you think they had seen the uniforms? Because he made it sound like they hadn't seen the uniforms.
Maybe.
At all.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
How do you keep that a secret?
I don't think they saw it because the person, whoever's in that uniform, they have the visor on that you can't see.
I think it's probably just Corey Campbell every time. I think they just let him do it because he's kind of the most yoked dude in that entire office.
I think they're not big enough to be Corey Campbell.
Okay, all right.
I think Adidas just has like athletic people that they like just bring in for like models.
You know what? You're right. I went to school with you at UNK with a guy who now does that. He's just like an Adidas model.
Yeah, I think it's like any other
I should have Gabe.
fashion brand that where it's just like, hey, we need pictures of our stuff.
Yeah. He transferred from UNK to NIU the year that NIU played at Nebraska.
Yeah?
Yeah. He was on a kickoff return. He missed a tackle. Tough look for the Lopers.
Nerd.
Tough look. Hey. He's a model now. What do you do?
I do this.
You're not even ranked in tennis according to Grok.
Famously, I'm here.
According to Grok.
Grok doesn't know.
Look, Grok doesn't know ball.
Grok
You
doesn't
can ask
know.
Grok anything.
Grok doesn't know NTRP tennis, apparently.
You could literally ask Grok anything and it's going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. 90% of the time. 90% of the time.
I don't know that it's I don't know if it's on its game all the time.
Yeah. I don't prefer Grok. Like I like seeing other people's conversations with Grok, but I'm not a Grok user myself.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I don't Grok.
You don't stumble around with Grok?
I don't grok.
That's Rico.
That's Rico.
Rico's broken.
Oh, Rico be broken. Isn't one of
those pot shots? Those are always the best.
Isn't that one of your anime characters? Grok?
No.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's mean.
What's wrong, Rico?
Rico, you haven't said a lot today. Why is that?
Oh no, sad Rico.
Oh, no,
we got sad Rico back. Oh no.
Rico, how excited are you for your New England Patriots in this preseason?
I have not paid attention to it whatsoever.
Wow, this guy hates AJ Brown.
All right, good talk. Appreciate that.
Should we get back to Fernando Mendoza then?
We can get to our guest here, Gary Java.
I thought Mendoza looked fine. I am not.
He looked like a person.
I have literally Greek yogurt vanilla takes on that because I don't have an opinion on it at all. I don't know what to say.
I have very strong opinions about Greek yogurt, as you know.
Vanilla Greek yogurt, though. You're not even doing flavored?
You can still taste it. You can still taste the Greek yogurt of it all. Yeah.
Are you just hitting regular yogurt?
This guy hates Greek
You don't do yogurt
I
at
don't
all.
do yogurt at all.
That's crazy.
It's terrible.
I can't believe you're anti-yogurt.
I'm out on yogurt. I think it's disgusting.
Terry loves yogurt.
9.
I can't believe you don't like yogurt. Really, all forms.
All forms
Tzatziki?
of yogurt. I am. That's about the only thing I can do. But if it's too like, it needs to be thin enough so that it's not like clumpy. I need it to be like a nice thin layer of tzatziki sauce for my gyros.
I could use like a vat of tzatziki and
Come
just
on, man.
dunk it.
Come on. What are we doing?
You're ridiculous.
Hot Danger says Groken and blanket biting.
I hope your substations are turned up to 11.
Hey, that's both of us. That's mean.
Hot Danger said it. I didn't say anything. Matt, I'm out on cottage cheese as well. I'm a listen. You know,
just don't like dairy. You don't like forms of dairy. Do you drink milk?
Love ice cream. Milk is great. It's a texture thing. You know, I'm a texture person. I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like pudding.
Sorry, I just thought of something funny. Never mind.
Don't. I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like pudding.
You know, guy though. It's not true.
I don't like yogurt. I don't like Greek yogurt. I don't like cottage cheese. Weird textures. I'm out.
Wow.
I'm out.
Are there any prepared foods that have weird textures you don't like? Or are you quinoa guy?
Quinoa's fine.
It's the same texture as cottage cheese.
Are you out of your mind?
They're the same thing.
Quinoa's not actively wet.
I don't like that. You said wet. I don't like the thought that I'm eating wet food. I don't like that. Don't ever say that to me again. Don't ever do that.
Rather eat it dry or what? I mean, what are we doing here?
I want to talk Rutgers. I don't want to do this anymore. I want my mom to pick me up. I'm getting nervous. Too much.
I think my mom's calling me.
Do not ever again. If we're out to lunch, do not ever look at me and be like, "Oh, you getting wet food today?"
Cottage cheese.
Do not ever do that to me.
Cottage cheese is a wet food.
I have never considered it was wet. Okay, I don't ever want to just be lifting a fork up and be like, "How wet is this?"
Robbie, you separate your food and dries and wets?
I mean, if there is like multiple foods on my plate, I try and keep, if there is a like liquid type food or like a food with sauce, I try and keep it away from the drier stuff. Yeah. Unless they're supposed to be mixed.
I don't like to think that my food's leaking either. That's it. I'm just like spiraling right now.
Yeah, you're thinking about baked beans, aren't you? You're thinking about baked beans leaking all over your
juice
plate.
is slowly going over to the other food.
You're trying to tell me
sometimes
beans?
on my plate the juice does get loose. All right, and you know what? There's nothing I can do about that. So I'm not going to change who I am because of your guys' description of what I choose to eat.
Austin, lover of wet foods. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Your schedule is filling up. Get back to busy at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2027 Kia Seltos S starting at just $269 a month. Ready for every run on the calendar. 2 great leases, 1 less thing to worry about. We've also got the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $249 a month. Don't wait. Get back to busy this August at Edwards Kia.
No, I didn't feel like our freshmen had too many nerves to, I think there was other players that, Terea, she's being asked and been talked about in the media a lot, and, Campbell, and I think players that are really, hoping to showcase their improvement, they in front of fans. I think they might have been a little more nervous, and the freshmen are like, yay, we're happy to be here. Those guys are like, they have something to prove coming into their sophomore year. And again, the sophomores have improved so much, and so they want to show it and show the fans and everybody how much they've improved, and the same things we see every day in practice.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Brian Fonseca, who covers Rutgers for NJ Advanced Media and the Star Ledger. Brian, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good, Brian. Doing good. Hopefully, you didn't hear any of that last segment. That was tough. Unless, do you have an opinion on hearing if your food is wet or not?
I do not. Let me give that some thought, and I'll get back to you. I don't want to make a harsh judgment right away.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I had to make a very snap judgment on how I felt about it, and I was very I was very opposed to how I felt about that. So thank you for standing with me on this. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Brian, let's hop right into this. Obviously, Rutgers has, I think, a very interesting year coming up. We heard Greg Schiano at Big Ten Media Days talk about how he thinks this is the deepest and best team since he's been back. How does that translate to you in terms of expectations for this season?
Well, I think it's a bit of a year in transition as far as offensively. Last year they had their best offense in 20 years since he was there the first time, with one of their best quarterbacks in program history, really talented wide receiver group, a really up and coming running back, solid offensive line. But they went 5-7 and missed a bowl game because they have the worst defense statistically, at least in yards per play allowed, in like this century in the Big Ten. They were just catastrophic as far as players on the field. The coaching was a disaster, and it made them really not really have a chance. It was almost a miracle they got to 5 wins. So they revamped their entire defense. They got a brand new coaching staff led by defensive coordinator Travis Johansson, who was the head coach at South Dakota. They got 9 or 10 new transfers, most of whom are expected to play a role. So the defense will be better. It's just a question of how much better. Then the question is offensively, can they get close to where they were last year? Because they returned KJ Duff, who's maybe the second or third best receiver in the Big Ten. They returned Antoine Raymond, who's a reliable running back who's going to get you yards. But the quarterback battle is still ongoing right now, midway through camp. You have AJ Surace, who's been there for 2 years behind Ethan Kaliakmanis. You have Dylan Lonergan, who transferred in from Boston College, a former 4-star recruit that went to Alabama under Nick Saban. And they haven't picked a guy yet. So there's always that curiosity about what's going to happen at quarterback. So in fairness, I also think Greg has said literally every year since he's been here that this is the most talented and deepest team he's had. So I always have learned to take some of those things with a grain of salt. But as far as expectations between those question marks and the schedule, which is lighter than it could be in the Big Ten, but not exactly easy, I would say 6-6 would probably be the bare minimum for a good year, especially after last year going 5-7 and letting that another bowl game slip through their fingers.
Brian, I'm glad you brought up the quarterback battle here because I do think that's interesting, that dynamic between having one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten, but having a big question mark at the quarterback position. Do you have any indication where you think that one is going in terms of who's going to end up winning that job? Or do you have even a sense of what each guy maybe brings to the table that could benefit or maybe be a drawback just based on what you know about him?
Well, every time we talk to Greg, he says the competition is getting harder and harder to decide. We talked to him after the first scrimmage of training camp on Saturday. He made that point. He keeps saying that there's not much separation, and it's not because they're both not performing well, but they're both performing so well that they can't distinguish. It's hard to distinguish if Greg is just saying that so he doesn't have to announce a starter, or if that's the case. And frankly, getting information out of Rutgers is like getting information out of Fort Knox. So I would anticipate we know the answer collectively on September 3rd, about an hour before kickoff. Either way, though, I think on paper, you look at it, AJ Surace is a local guy who's been in the program under offensive coordinator Kirk Shiraka for 2 years. He learned under, again, Ethan Kaliakmanis, who was their best quarterback in 20 years. I think for the health of the program, in the long term, it would make sense that if it is a dead heat, he would win only because it shows that you can take a kid from New Jersey, you can develop him, you can make him a starting quarterback in the Big Ten, and ideally he obviously plays well. Whereas Dylan Lonergan, but the thing with AJ is he has not played in a college football game, right? He played a few snaps against Wagner last year, didn't really play any major snaps in the last 2 years. Whereas Dylan Lonergan, he's been at 2 different schools. He was a starter at Boston College last year. He's been in college for 3 years. He's a former 4-star recruit, as I said. So he has the experience and knows what it takes to win and to play well in college football. Whereas again, AJ has not. So I think that's really the two sides of them, right? One guy's been in the program but hasn't played. One guy hasn't been in the program but has played. And I think that it's going to sort itself out eventually. But based on what we've heard, it's not close to being sorted out.
Brian, I think that there's a bit of a national perception when it comes to Rutgers, at least the conference perception, that obviously you have the high-end talent on your offensive side at receiver and running back, and the defense has a couple of key pieces. But it feels like overall maybe the Rutgers roster isn't getting the credit where it's due. Is that how you perceive it here in fall camp, that Rutgers just has maybe 1 or 2 lead stars and the rest of the development and the depth isn't necessarily where the rest of the Big Ten is? Or is it actually closer to the middle of maybe where the conference is, albeit together?
It's a good question. I think the perception deal of this is that Rutgers was picked 16th out of 18 Big Ten teams in the unofficial preseason poll from Cleveland.com. I think nationally, people see that and kind of shrug their shoulders because they see Rutgers and, what they've known of Rutgers in 11 years in the Big Ten is, outside of a couple blips in this Greg Schiano 2.0 and in the first year under Kyle Flood, Rutgers typically is not great, right? They do normally finish near the bottom of the Big Ten. So to people who don't follow the program closely, which I don't blame them for not doing so, they don't really know what's going on outside of, like you said, the KJ Duff and the Antoine Raymond, the guys who pierce through to the league-wide attention. I would say that it's hard to know defensively, again, because there's just so much change and so many, both in the coaching staff and on the field, that even I who daily follow Rutgers football, I have no idea how it's going to look, right? Again, I know they'll be better. I just have no idea how they will play, who's going to play a humongous role or bigger roles, or that's hard to decipher. Offensively, I think that the question marks are at positions that you really would like to know more than others. Quarterback and offensive line. They have a lot of depth at offensive line, but they only returned one starter who played every game last year in Kobe Asamoah. So I could understand the perception of, not knowing entirely what you're getting out of Rutgers. I guess the one position that maybe is not looked at nationally as good as it is wide receiver, because yes, you do have KJ Duff, who is a starter on basically every Big Ten team if he decided to transfer. The fact Rutgers was able to keep him was a huge win this offseason. But they have a lot of really talented young receivers that Greg pointed out after the scrimmage on Saturday, and guys that last year didn't play much because of injury and things like that. But I think that every year Dave Brock, the wide receivers coach, gets one guy to break through. 2 years ago was Ian Strong. Last year was KJ Duff. This year they're going to have a guy that the Big Ten has never heard of, is going to put up a lot of numbers because that's just what they do over the last few years.
Brian, stylistically, if Rutgers has a better year, obviously last year I think was sort of an anomaly in terms of the defense. We typically think of Greg Schiano at teams as being, pretty physical, having great defenses, things like that. That obviously wasn't the case last year. Stylistically, what do you think the best version of this team looks like?
Yeah, Greg said that in his ideal world, the defense looks like a bunch of piranhas swarming to the ball, getting pressure, and at its best under Greg 20 years ago, that's what it was. It was a really ball swarming defense that got to the quarterback, forced turnovers, the ideal for basically every defense, right? I think Rutgers has a huge margin of improvement in those two areas, in getting to the quarterback and getting sacks and forcing turnovers. I think they had 7 turnovers forced, or 7 takeaways last year, which was easily last in the Big Ten. It's almost impossible to get that low of a number if you're a Power 4 team, especially when you play, 3 non-conference games a year. But they were really bad at that last year. The sacks, the remarkable stat that's been following Rutgers for a decade now is they have not had one player with 5 or more sacks since 2016. It's just, again, it almost feels like something that should happen accidentally, and they just have not gotten guys, whether it's, the entire unit, or they just haven't gotten one standout guy that could do that. That to me, in an ideal world, are the 2 areas they fix up significantly. But even the one thing they could fix that would be a huge improvement from last year is just don't give up big plays. They were getting killed game after game because they'd have 1 or 2 breakdowns, just lapses in concentration, and boom, they'd give up 80 yards and a touchdown. They were in the top. I don't want to rip out an exact number here because I don't remember off the top of my head, but they were certainly near the top of the country in big plays allowed last year. You got to cut that out and give yourself a chance, because ultimately for Rutgers to win, given its talent disadvantage across most of the teams they play, they have to win every edge possible. They have to not give up. They can't give up these big plays. They have to win in the margins. They have to be conservative and try to win the game not lose the game, I guess is how I would say. Rutgers is at its best when it doesn't lose the game, and when the games are close like that, you have to win in the margins.
Brian, let's take KJ Duff and whoever ends up playing quarterback out of this. If Rutgers is better than people expect, who are a couple of guys that would be the main reason for that, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think Malachi Davis, he transferred in at defensive end, playing in the MAC. He is probably their best candidate to be that pass rusher they haven't had in a while. You have Kosh Sanders, returning safety. It's his 3rd year in the program, former 4-star kid from Bergen Catholic, which is one of the better football programs in the state. He had a bit of a rough year last year, but it's hard to tell whether that was him taking a sophomore slump or the defensive scheme and coaching being so bad that it made him take a step back. But he was a kid who had a good freshman year, played a lot as a true freshman, and he could be a difference maker defensively. And then offensively, they just need whoever is the left tackle. I don't know who that is now, the left tackle and the right tackle, to play really well and protect the quarterback, because you don't have a guy like Ethan Kaliakmanis with the experience to work around a collapsing pocket every once in a while. And they don't have a speedster at quarterback who can scramble out of the pocket. So those are the three positions, three people, I guess I would say, that would stand out. But ultimately, to your point, you need KJ Duff to be KJ Duff. You need Antoine Raymond to be Antoine Raymond, and you need your quarterback to be, at the very least, average.
Brian, oftentimes when it comes to the Big Ten travel conversations, it always starts with the West Coast teams and how far they have to travel, but Rutgers being on the East Coast. This year is a bit different. It's the team that's first in the Big Ten in fewest travel miles scheduled for this year, just a little bit over 4,000. How much of an advantage is that, especially with the amount of home games against top 25 opponents that are on the preseason schedule?
Yeah, it's huge, right? Along with like the fatigue of having to go all the way to California, having to get there probably a day earlier, and having a cross-country flight on the way back. And then the bigger issue is just the fatigue that delays you for the following week, right? Because you have to take probably an extra day or two to get yourself back acclimated to the East Coast and get rested from the long trip. Rutgers' furthest trip west is to Wisconsin this year. They go to Wisconsin, they go to Northwestern. Penn State is a 3.5 hour drive. I don't know off the top of my head if they fly or take a bus. But for me as the beat writer, right, I only have 2 flights that I can think of, or 3, because we drive to Boston College, we drive to Maryland, we drive to Penn State, and then there's the trip to Northwestern and in Wisconsin. So certainly, I think if my life is easier because of that, I think their life is infinitely easier. I don't know if it'll make it's like a make or break the season, but I do think in 3 months where everything counts, those are certainly little advantages that make a difference. And if you ask Greg Schiano, they make probably a big difference because he is huge on the details, as most college coaches are.
Brian, if I had to give you any 3-game stretch of the schedule, which do you think will determine the direction of this Rutgers season?
Well, if we take for granted that Rutgers will go 3-0 in non-conference, which they've done every single year since Greg has been back, they're 15-0 in non-conference regular season games. Let's take that for granted. Let's say they beat Boston College on the road, which is the one difficult game. I would say the 3-game stretch that makes the biggest difference would be at Maryland, at Northwestern versus Michigan, and then if I could cheat and make it a 4th game. So here's the thing: the Michigan game in the middle is between two important game stretches, because I think the 4 winnable games. Well, there's 5 winnable Big Ten games for Rutgers, but there's 4 games in a 5-game stretch, which is at Maryland, at Northwestern, at Wisconsin, and home against Nebraska. I think those are the 4 games that Rutgers has to win, at the very least 2, and if you in a perfect world 3, along with the season finale against Michigan State, because when you're Rutgers, you need to accumulate as many wins in the Big Ten against winnable opponents as you can to get to a bowl game. Because if we're being frank, the odds of them beating USC, Indiana, Michigan, Penn State are pretty low, right? Historically, and looking at the rosters this year, you got to win the games that you can if you're Rutgers. And I would say that those 4 games, if I'm not counting the Michigan State game at the end because it's a little farther away, those are going to determine the trajectory of the season.
Brian, on that same question, then, just to make it a Nebraska-based question, does the fan base or the Rutgers program see that Nebraska game as one of those toss-up coin flip games, in that same sense of, if we're going to get to 6, if we need to get to a bowl game, that's a game that we need to win?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a must-win per se, but it's certainly, like, Nebraska isn't unbeatable, right? This isn't Nebraska of the old days, and it hasn't been for a while. And obviously, Rutgers has not beaten Nebraska since they've joined the Big Ten, but they've had opportunities, certainly. The 2020 game, the game at Rutgers in 22, which was Greg's 3rd year back, I want to say. The game at Nebraska a couple of years ago that I was at, that they were, it was KG back and forth, and I thought Rutgers had a chance to win there. So Nebraska, I view Nebraska as the same as Wisconsin and Iowa for Rutgers insofar as they've been beatable in recent years. Rutgers has been in games with them where they could have won, or at the very least with Wisconsin, there was a game where Wisconsin was having a bad season. They came to Rutgers and beat them 42-0 or some absurd score. But I put Nebraska in that tier of teams that Rutgers, if they want to take the next step and go from being seen as one of the bottom feeders of the Big Ten to a respectable mid-tier Big Ten team that they want to be, they have to beat a Nebraska, a Wisconsin, an Iowa, teams in that tier. So listen, I think Nebraska probably will be slightly favored when they come to Piscataway. I don't think unless they have a dramatic improvement this year that I can't foresee, I don't think they'll be one of these unbeatable teams. And I certainly think if Rutgers is able to upset Nebraska, it'll be one of the bigger wins of Greg 2.0.
That is Brian Fonseca, covers Rutgers for the Star Ledger and NJ Advanced Media. Brian, we appreciate the time, and we'll talk soon.
It was a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Brian.
That is Brian Fonseca covering Rutgers.
Rutgers.
That's
a very interesting game.
The Rutgers, Nebraska?
Well, I know he sounded less optimistic than I anticipated him being.
Yeah.
I get the sense it's almost the opposite of Nebraska's runway. Rutgers starts with UMass. They're at Boston College. I think those are two games I think that they probably are 2-0.
Yeah,
and then,
Boston College will be interesting, but
I think that USC game is a lot more closer to a coin flip than what you would say on a neutral territory, especially with a flight all the way from California to Piscataway. The talent difference is significant, but I don't know.
The talent difference is significant.
Yes.
That's a I don't know. I'd be stunned if Rutgers won that game.
Then let's just say, in that sense, we'll go with you. They're 3-1. They beat Howard. Then they play Indiana. Probably lose to Indiana, right?
Yeah.
So 3-2. They get to their bye week. From there, there's this odd ramp that I feel like they could get on because again, you get to Maryland.
Northwestern are very winnable.
So you're now 5-2.
Here's the problem with their schedule a little bit though, is their stretch here of 3 winnable games out of 4 are all on the road.
Yes.
Right. So you get Maryland, Northwestern, Wisconsin all on the road. Like that's a bummer for them to not get any home games of 3 of the teams that they feel like they can beat.
That's what makes that Nebraska game so interesting.
And important for them.
Because that could be before, right, sandwiched between a home game against Michigan, then at Wisconsin, you play at home against Nebraska, and then you are likely peeking a little bit ahead to looking at Penn State the next week. That's a lot. That's a lot to do. And especially if you are teetering, I mean, Nebraska's had this problem the past few years. If you are entering into November and you were at 5 wins, you lose at Wisconsin, the Nebraska game becomes super important. You're not anticipating you lose to Penn State on the road, but that's a tougher environment. Penn State at that point is probably going to be at least an 8-win or 9-win team. So they're going to be vying for something big too. And then you wrap up your season against Michigan State. I don't know. That Nebraska game, I think, holds a lot of weight for Rutgers.
I agree.
And it'll be interesting to see where both teams are at when they hit that pivot point of the season. And I'm not saying that the game is not going to be as important for one or the other. But listen, when you're playing, you kind of look ahead and you are telling yourself, I mean, Nebraska's going to do this too. Nebraska fan base will definitely point at it as well. When they get to the Rutgers game, they're going to be looking ahead at Ohio State and Iowa saying, oh, this game could be ultra important if we're sitting at 5 wins, if we're at 6 wins, or what the difference could be.
I think the difference for Nebraska is I think Nebraska does view Rutgers as a must-win, as opposed to what Brian was talking about, where maybe not a must-win for Rutgers, but a game in that stretch where you probably need to win 2 or 3 in that stretch. Whereas I look at that game for Nebraska and say, hey, if Nebraska is actually taking a step forward this year, those are games Nebraska has to win.
Yeah.
At Illinois with a new roster, a new coordinator on the defensive side, like that's a game Nebraska has to win. I would put Washington in that category of a game Nebraska doesn't have to win, but that would be sort of they've started to ascend a little bit.
It's a different conversation of have to win. Like it's more of the where are we as a whole?
Like the games that I would look at for Nebraska as have to win are obviously the non-con, Michigan State, Maryland, Illinois, Rutgers. Those to me are the have to win games.
You're putting Illinois in there?
I think so. This year, yes. If Nebraska is actually taking a step forward, look at what Nebraska.
I think people will agree with you once the season starts and they see Illinois. I think that's the difference.
So yes, I'm fast forwarding to I think Illinois is going to take somewhat of a step back because of the changeover in their roster and a little bit of their coaching staff. Like I said, I thought their continuity was their superpower. We talked to Evan last week.
Yeah, that's almost one of those, the way that Evan was talking about it too, and what we know of, like Bielema does not really like Nebraska.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of those, if Illinois is coming in with 3-4 wins, whatever the case is, that is going to be more of a Nebraska's got to win this one because Illinois is going to come out ready to fight for it.
Exactly. Yeah. This is one of those, hey, it doesn't really matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but even when Illinois isn't as good, and maybe they'll be at 5 wins by that point of the season. But even if they're not as good, because I don't think the bottom's going to fall out, but I don't think we're going to look at them like we did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that ended up being a very good Illinois team 2 years ago, and Nebraska took them to overtime, right? The year before that, Nebraska beat Illinois in that game we were talking about earlier. So I don't look at Illinois as the boogeyman necessarily. because Nebraska has beaten them and played them to an overtime game the 2 times they've played since Matt Rhule's been here.
They also already have a boogeyman of excuses already lined up for that game too, especially if the Washington game, like you mentioned, is a night game.
Yeah, it's a short week, whatever. Like, I think you have to sit here and say that's a game that if Nebraska is actually elevating as a program, you get Illinois sort of on a reset year. That's a game you have to win.
Yep.
That's a game you just have to be able to go on the road and win. And so I think it's okay to say that out loud. It's the same thing with Rutgers. I view Rutgers as a game you have to be able just to go out and win. Michigan State's the same way. And that's not to say they're going to win all these games. I think they will. But I sit here and go, okay, if Nebraska actually is elevating as a program, if they are continuing to make progress, these are the games this year that they need to be able to win.
And that's where I'm at. I mentioned it earlier, but that's where I sit, is that Nebraska needs to prove that they can win the games where they are likely the same, if not equal to, right, in talent and just an overall program disparity.
Nebraska needs to win the game where they are equal or better talent.
Yes. But then the Rutgers game, I view differently than that because, as we just heard from Brian, Nebraska is the better. They're more talented.
Yeah.
Their roster depth is better.
It's not such a gap that Rutgers feels like they can't win, as he was saying. But it is a game where Nebraska should go in there and be like, hey, we need to go win this game. It doesn't matter if it's on the road. We need to go win this game.
Yeah.
I think that's how I feel. Again, that's how I feel about Illinois this year too. That's a pretty similar talent level game, I think. Nebraska needs to be able to go in and win those games that they are better or equal to their opponents talent-wise. That's the big difference that we've been talking about the last few years or decade for that matter, is Nebraska winning the games where they are better in talent or equal in talent. Once we get through that, we can talk about maybe getting an upset against Indiana or someone else, right? But and honestly, I throw Iowa in that category, even though Iowa has been the boogeyman.
Right.
Because Iowa, year in, year out, is pretty similar in talent to Nebraska. They're just better than Nebraska in terms of actually winning football games. And I know that doesn't always make sense to people when I say it that way. I don't have a better way to put it. I think we talked about this weirdly with like Trae Young a few weeks ago with Brian Edwards. Trae Young, more talented at basketball than a lot of people, not very good at basketball in terms of helping you win games. That's sort of how I view like I would take Trae Young versus like a Shane Battier. Shane Battier, not as talented as Trae Young, more useful a lot of times in helping you win basketball games. Iowa is the Shane Battier.
They're more of a Boris Diaw, but that's fair.
Sure, but like better at helping you win basketball games. I would argue Skinny Boris was actually very talented.
Udonis Haslam.
Sure.
Now we're just naming just utility players.
He's just a mascot. Fair. Shane Battier had a skill set that was very useful to help you winning basketball games, even if he wasn't as gifted as a guy like Trae Young or Russell Westbrook, who's, Westbrook, because he's retiring right now. You look at it, you go, hey, MVP, triple doubles, things like that. Look at what the situation was when he was the best player on your team. You're talking about like a 6 seed when he won his MVP season with Oklahoma City. His best years from a winning standpoint came with 2 other MVPs on that team. That's how I view Nebraska versus Iowa. I think talent-wise, they're pretty similar. I know those basketball players I was talking about have a little bit more disparity, but talent-wise, they're very similar. But Iowa is much better at football in terms of winning football than Nebraska has been. Those are the games. Like Iowa's sort of in a middle tier between Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana, and the other teams that I've been talking about. Iowa's in this middle tier where it's like, hey, they're clearly better at winning football games than Nebraska is right now. I still think the talent is probably closer to this first group, but their winning is closer to the second group.
Yeah.
So they're in this kind of weird middle ground here where I don't totally know what to do with them, and I can't really put them in the category of like, that has to be a must-win for Nebraska because they are so much better at winning than Nebraska has been.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree. Is pizza wet food?
Pizza is a saucy food.
That's not the question. The question is if it's a wet food.
It shouldn't be. If it's too greasy, it becomes wet, and then it's not appealing.
So you like dry pizza is what you're saying?
I don't like dry pizza. I like cheesy pizza.
What about like a burrito bowl? Is that wet food?
Depends on what you put in there.
Is it Old Beige?
If you put like a pico de gallo in there, like you could get some wet burrito bowl, and that's not always great.
That thing wet?
Is melted cheese wet?
Is what?
Is melted cheese wet?
No, melted cheese is melted cheese.
You got to put this in like a frame of an actual food, though.
Well, you're talking about. I'm going back to the pizza.
Like quesadillas aren't wet.
Quesadillas aren't wet.
Pizza's not wet. Also, I will say a creamy wetness is different. In like a cottage cheese, that's like a creamy wetness. That's a different deal.
Why bring Rico into this?
What the fuck me for?
Now I have to make the whole show explicit, Rico. Thank you. Thank you, Rico.
From 7:06 and 9:59, Rico just dropping F-bombs.
Pretty impressive.
No, there's like a.
So it's funny when Rico cusses.
Like
no, we're saying it was very funny when you cussed. It was
but
just
when
shocking.
it's not when I cuss.
Shane, it was shocking what
like
happened.
Pudding.
Pudding is wet.
Yeah, but it's like a creamy wetness. You know, that's a different deal.
Don't say it like that.
Don't look me in the eyes when you say
Wait.
it.
Eye contact.
Stop. Creamy wetness.
You said it weird.
Creamy wetness.
Stop saying it weird.
No.
We're talking about food, man.
Yeah, but you brought this whole thing up, and I'm trying to blow up your spot right now.
So
I don't want any repercussion. I don't want any wetness grenades hitting
I
me,
will
okay?
explodes all over my chest.
Salsa wet. Bang.
Salsa is wet, but it's not a creamy wetness, so you're okay. Also,
someone said sauce. Anytime sauce is included, is all sauce wet?
I don't think so.
Sauce is liquid, makes it wet, right?
Alfredo sauce is a creamy wet sauce.
What about like spaghetti sauce? Wet?
Yes, but not creamy.
Yeah, not creamy. Also, I think there is Alfredo sauce is a creamy wetness. I agree. But
gravy?
Gravy's wet. Here's the difference, though. Here's the problem with
thick stuff.
I'm not anti-wet food. I want to be clear about that. You ask why I like quinoa and not cottage cheese, because you said they're basically the same thing.
They are.
And I said cottage cheese is actively wet. In that scenario, when I'm mixing like active creamy wetness with a like sort of chunky food, that bothers me. That's why
What's the difference?
Tapioca pudding, I'm just like out. You know what I mean? Like
You're not a
that's
bread pudding fan?
What?
Bread pudding?
Nah, bread pudding's okay.
It's wet.
But if it's too wet, I'm out. But bread pudding in general, again.
Yeah, people who like pour milk over it. That's gross. I'm not
again,
for that,
creamy wetness. What are we doing?
What's the difference between actively wet and not actively wet?
I hate that you're creating a take I'm starting to agree with.
Isn't that the worst part about me?
I can't believe this is happening. I was so
You're like, you know
upset
what?
20 minutes ago.
You're kind of making some sense here.
I hate that.
So actively wet is, I would describe, like cheese. Cheese is not actively wet. There might be like a moisture component to it, but cheese would not be, like melted cheese is not actively wet. Cottage cheese is actively wet.
Yogurt is actively wet.
Yes. It's sort of one of those, like, you know it when you see it or taste it.
Are you anti-Jello?
Got it.
I'm more okay with Jello than I am pudding.
Jello is dry.
I actually would agree. I think Jello is a dry food.
Yeah, Jello is not wet.
If it's properly set,
yes,
Jello is not a wet food. It's a cold food.
It's cold
and
food.
A lot of times we confuse cold with wet, but it's not. It's
ice
different.
cream.
Ice cream's wet,
So
but it's
that's the thing, though, is like I would even differentiate like ice cream as a whole
Mhm.
is probably dry, but there are different forms of ice cream that are wet. Like soft serve ice cream, wet. That's wet ice cream.
Yeah, I would agree. But that doesn't bother me.
This is making sense, and I also don't like it.
I'm glad we kind of worked through our feelings of this because I was very
You were pretty
anti this.
mad.
I was pretty
You
upset.
yelled at me as soon as we got off the air.
I was pretty upset.
You put the headset down. You said, "You don't ever say that to me again." And I was like, "Whoa, brother."
So at the steak and lube, which is dry and which is wet?
Well, the wings are wet.
Fair.
But you want the steak to be moist. You don't want dry steak.
You don't want dry steak. But the steak isn't wet.
The steak is not actively wet. Now.
No, hold on. No. He's making sense. Don't make that face.
Now, if you put like the weird mushroom sauce over the steak, now we're talking about an actively wet steak, and I am out.
You're out on actively wet steak. Okay.
But I think steak is passively wet. It's juicy. Okay. There's a difference between juicy and wet. I want to make that very clear. What? That's fair. Meat can be juicy, but it's not like wet until you do other stuff to it.
How big is your deck?
I'm not like a huge deck guy. You know what I mean?
That thing wet.
Really more of a
That thing wet, man.
A hot dog with condiments, wet or dry?
Really more of a patio type guy. A hot dog with condiments is wet, but again, the hot dog itself is not actively wet.
It is dry, yes.
Right? It's again juicy.
Yeah, if someone like slopped on a wet dog, ugh.
Like when you get the ones out of the I like the
boiling water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then, especially if you don't let it like dry and you put it on a bun, that's a wet dog. You don't want
wet
that.
bun. Yeah, I don't need any wet buns.
Wet bun is out.
Shane, you in or out on wet buns?
He does love bread.
I just had a Hawaiian barbecue sandwich, and I thought the bottom part of the bun, the lower half, was a little wet for me, so I was out on that.
I agree.
The bottom.
I mean, it was a little too much barbecue sauce down there on the bottom.
Too much sauce on the bottom. That is a problem.
Barbecue food in general. So actually, we have to differentiate. Like brisket should be a dry food, not a wet food.
Well, briskets would be a juicy food, but not actively wet.
But ribs should be
an actively wet food with the sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actively wet.
See? This makes perfect sense. You just didn't
I'm
like
glad
how
you broke that down.
You just didn't like how it sounded.
You did not know this coming in. You formulated this over the course of the last 20 minutes.
Isn't that impressive that I've
really
done that though? Like
Yeah,
I've done
you're
this all
kind
on
of-
the fly.
No wonder you're getting up there in age. You're so sage and wise. That's why.
If you need advice on whether food is actively wet or not, we got you covered.
We might have to do like a wet and dry food draft or something like that. I want the chat to just like pepper you with a bunch of stuff.
We need 3 categories. Actively,
Lemon pepper wings from a strip club. Wet or dry?
Dry.
I think they're
Wet.
dry.
Lemon pepper
wet is a mythical thing. It's not real.
Yeah, no. I mean, dry rub wings are not wet. They might be juicy if the wing is prepared well. You might have a juicy wing, but it's not a wet wing.
See, Shane, I'm with you.
Garlic.
Shane Morrison chat. He says Greek yogurt is such a quality food. I agree.
Listen, I understand the macros and stuff like that. I really just don't like it.
I sit on this take often. I don't say it in public settings, but I'll say it now. If I could remove my taste buds and just eat like macronutrients, that's what I would prefer in life. I don't need flavor. Now, since I have flavor, I eat a bunch of foods that I shouldn't be eating, and that's my problem. But I would much rather have no flavor in my life and just eat like mush. That was just my compact macronutrients
You
for the
big
day.
gruel guy.
Listen, I love a slop bowl. Okay, when I go home and I make my
that's why you like cottage cheese. Slop bowls are actively wet.
You're gonna have this is gonna be the most disgusting thing you've ever heard. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
This is my favorite macro bowl. Whenever I'm like heavy into training, I'll do a chicken in the crock pot. Like I'll put like 4 or 5 chicken breasts and I'll pour just a jar of salsa over it.
Yeah.
I'll season it.
Explodes all over your breasts.
Yep. So all over my
chicken breasts.
The
Yeah.
chicken breasts. And I'll slow cook that. I'll shred it. So it's just like salsa chicken with seasonings. Very simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very actively wet food.
Yeah.
I will take portions of that, put it over some seasoned diced sweet potatoes. And then I will put
I'm not a sweet potato guy.
Then I'll put cottage cheese with it.
Oh.
See, I knew it. I lost it.
I could deal with the sweet potatoes, although not my favorite. You throw cottage cheese on there, and what are we doing?
It's my slop bowl, man.
It's just wet on wet on wet.
I love slop.
Just so much wet.
And then sometimes we make this cowboy caviar, which is just like some chickpeas, some black beans. Some
I've seen
pico.
cowboy caviar. That is a wet food, but it's not bad.
It's very actively wet.
Yeah. Cowboy caviar is definitely wet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm glad we parsed through this.
That was great. I loved being actively wet with you.
Rico didn't like something I said there.
What's wrong, Rico?
He put his
Speak
head
your
down.
mind.
He did one of these.
You know what you said.
What did you? Can you say for our podcast listeners in case they missed it?
For the podcast listeners?
No, I'm good.
We're talking about
you're gonna make fun of me. No, because you're gonna make fun of me.
Rico, when was the last time we made fun of you?
It's been
7 minutes ago.
Yeah, come on. Share with the
6 minutes
class.
ago.
See? It's 10:07. The music's going to play here in 2 minutes or a minute.
No.
Wow, lame. All right.
All right. Well, I guess Rico just ended the show. Shane, hit the music.
Thanks a lot, Rico. Appreciate it. We were having so much fun.
We're having a great time.
No more.
Shane, hit
Robbie,
the
I
music.
hope all of your food is wet today.
Listen, again, I'm not opposed to wet food if there are certain things that I don't like to be wet.
See, Corn Raider, he says you put a can of tuna in a bowl of cottage cheese. Cottage cheese becomes the sauce. I do a can of tuna and do Greek yogurt in there. Just make my tuna salad that way.
Pass.
Mac and cheese is wet, actively wet.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a problem.
That's more the milk base, though.
Again, yeah. When the cheese is the wetness, I don't have a problem.
Feta cheese on sweet potatoes? Gross.
Feta cheese, dry cheese.
Dry cheese, very dry cheese.
Yeah.
Very dry cheese.
Very
Yeah.
dry cheese.
I can't wait to ask the office today their favorite actively wet foods.
What's your favorite and least favorite actively wet foods? What's going on with actively wet food? That's Austin. I'm Ravi. Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be back tomorrow. Hold on.
Wait, hold on. Don't end the show.
Clip this out, Rico. we have Fred Hoiberg on the show tomorrow. Your head men's basketball coach.
Sweet 16?
Sweet 16 basketball coach. Fred Hoiberg from the University of Nebraska will be on the show tomorrow.
That's right.
We're going to talk Nebraska hoops with him. We'll also talk about some of the charities that he's been working with as well, specifically with the American Cancer Society. So
looking forward to it.
Fred Hoiberg will be at 8 o'clock tomorrow. That's Austin. I'm Robbie. We will be back as well. Maybe should we leave the chicken up for Fred?
That's up to you, man.
We'll have to.
You're going to be asking a lot of questions. You might as well.
We'll decide later.
We'll ask him about wet foods.
I almost certainly will not.
Okay.
We'll be back tomorrow on Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.